And welcome to another podcast of the Saints Martini. I'm sort of bumbling for my words there because I couldn't get the mute button off. It was my second attempt. Even the second attempt, I couldn't get the mute button off. But anyway, welcome to the Saints Martini with myself, the Saint Warren, and of course, the Halo Irish. How are you today, Irish?
I am existing in a space. That's how I am today.
Existing.
I am existing in a space, yes.
Well, I think, therefore I am. Isn't
Absolutely.
that the... Yes, that's the only provable fact in the universe, or in the known universe anyway, is your own existence. Yes. Anyway, that's... I don't know.
For me immediately,
a little bit too deep to start off with, yes.
I didn't know we were going to be doing the existential shit right away.
I know. Yes. Oh, God. Anyway. But what I suppose to start the podcast, before we do anything, cocktails and conversation. What is your cocktail of choice for this week's podcast?
Actually, I've been drinking Bloody Marys all day, and we don't have to discuss why that is.
No.
It's not at all a hangover remedy.
You don't. You don't need an excuse. Any time, every time is a good time for a Bloody Mary.
Oh, I agree with that. I didn't used to think so, but I have actually come to really appreciate them. So yeah. I was, drinking those, but I have switched because I know that I need to keep myself in at least under a certain line here. So I'm going to just go with a little wine, and I kept my bottle to about half of one. So, I was already quite toasty before we got on the air. So, hi, everyone.
Hi.
Buckle up.
Well, I am drinking a Wynn's Coonawarra Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's it's no, it's $15 a bottle. It's nothing special, honestly. But
but it sounded very fancy. That was what was important.
It is from Coonawarra Alta. So the main strip of Coonawarra. If anyone knows Australian wine regions, there's Coonawarra Alta, Coonawarra Outer, or Coonawarra Inner, the road. So in other words, call it Australian terms, the bloody road or off the bloody road, right? So, so there's a little town in South Australia called Coonawarra, and the road runs north-south through it, okay? And all the wineries, or the vineyards, I should say, are all basically around the town, and they follow the road. And because this road in town just happened to be built on this amazing soil. Now, as Coonawarra grew and got bigger, of course, all the vineyards started to grow. But now they're outside of this perfect soil region because they're off the road. And so they're the cheaper Coonawarras. So now you've got this idea of on the road or off the road.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit like, I suppose it's, like, in wine terms, it's like, like the sunny side of the hill or the dark side of the hill. You can't just plant vines anywhere and expect them to be exactly the same. So,
right, absolutely.
Hence why you can buy $300 bottles of Coonawarra and you can buy $10 bottles of Coonawarra. So
that may be the case in many places for many different types of wine.
Yes.
But not always warranted. So if there's an actual difference, then, I'd be interested to try that, actually. I haven't tried that many Australian wines. As we've discussed before, I've really only scraped the bottom of the barrel of the American version, the Koala Blue of wines, as it were.
The Koala Blue. God, I remember that company. That was started by Olivia Newton-John, wasn't it?
It was.
Koala
and I don't
Blue.
mean to make fun of it because actually we
did. We thought it was
I
a
was
joke.
like all about it.
Koala Blue. I still remember there were Koala Blue shops even in Australia, and you would have to argue. Well, I still believe the only people that ever went in them were tourists. Like, no Australian ever shopped at Koala Blue.
No, but we had them in the malls in America, and at the
Right?
time, it was when she was big here, and the whole Australian thing was going strong with, we had Crocodile Dundee and all that stuff. So people were kind of crazy about the Australian concept. We didn't really know that much. It was just what they were showing us. And we knew Olivia Newton-John was from Australia. So therefore, Koala Blue was obviously an Australian store. Okay, so
Right. Okay.
that's the way Americans look at those kinds of things, especially at the time. So I'm just going to say I was young, and it was a little Laura Ingalls, kind of Little House on the Prairie. I don't know if you guys had that show over there.
Oh yeah, I remember that show.
Or
I
the
remember
books.
that show.
I read the books when I was a kid, and I kind of lived them in fifth grade. So basically, in my mind, I wanted all of the prairie dresses and all that stuff. So with all the pretty little flower patterns and stuff, the Koala Blue stuff fit right in with that for me. So,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is
no,
interesting.
it's not interesting, but it is something that took up some time to discuss.
No. I find it fascinating. But it's also like, don't you have a chain of restaurants? Well, I use restaurants in the very loosest sense of the word, called Outback Steakhouse or something. Is that
do.
right?
Yeah,
Which is meant to be Australian food. Is that the whole?
No, I don't think technically. I think it's Australian themed with American
food.
Yeah. I mean, it's American food with Aussie names, for the marketing.
So in other words,
it's basically just a steakhouse with some, they have a cream of potato soup. They used to have one with this cream of onion, which was amazing. They got rid of that for some reason, but they were both called walkabout soup. There's no reason for those things to be called walkabout soup, okay? But that's what they've labeled it, yes.
That's like
and the bloomin' onion.
The bloomin' onion, really?
Yeah,
I can't believe walkabout soup. Walkabout is a religious bloody rite of Aboriginal males.
It was also in Crocodile Dundee, mate. So there you go.
Well, yeah, I know. Although, but it's now gone on to basically just mean anyone that just has time off. They go on walk. It's like I'm going to take 3 months off work to think about life and what I want to do in the future. Oh, so you go and walkabout. Yeah, mate, go and walkabout, right? Walkabout just now sort of means when you have time off, but it's not really about that. It's actually meant to be a spiritual awakening. It's like, like when Christians get confirmed when they're... No.
I'm sorry.
No, well, neither do I, but Christians get confirmed, or Jews have their bar mitzvah.
Catholics get confirmed.
Confirmed, yeah.
And so do Episcopalians, but I don't know how many others do.
Right, and so Jews have the what's it called again? When they become adults, but they're the bar mitzvah, the bar mitzvah.
And then girls have the bat mitzvah, at the same age.
And walkabout is the equivalent of that. It's meant to be a religious rite into manhood.
Right.
It's the child becoming the man. They go off by themselves, and in other words, they leave as children, they come back men. But but then again, I'm not Aboriginal. I'm not going to speak about the religion of Dreamtime. I am not.
Right. There's a lot of cultures that do a kind of a ceremony or something like that for kids that are becoming, adults. So I think Native American tribes did something like that as well.
Yes. So it's so it's pretty much, I think cultures all around the world do something similar, or at least did. We have our own versions of it now by throwing a party. A little bit different to being sent off into the wild for 3 months, but
Yeah, here in America, the tradition is that really spoiled rich 16-year-olds get too expensive cars and parties that no one will ever live up to again for the rest of their lives.
It's like a thousand years ago, you were sent off into the tundra, for 3 months to survive and fight bears and wolves and hunt elk.
Brittany gets a BMW and a new dog.
And throws a hissy fit if the Mercedes wasn't an AMG black. It's like, he goes, "Oh, Dad, but it's just a Mercedes. I wanted the AMG." Anyway.
I know young ladies who are probably going to behave that way, even though they are not going to get anything for their birthdays because they're horrible little children. But that's a whole other.
That's a whole other. Yes.
I know some teenage girls that probably are going to behave that way. You know what I got for my 16th birthday? I'm going to be really honest with you. And it's embarrassing.
No.
I got a purse. It's literally
nothing wrong with that.
That's literally what I got for my 16th birthday. And my parents, we didn't live in a big house or anything. I told you before, we didn't have any money really when I was growing up at all. And I can't say I wasn't bitter though.
Well, see, they like the idea of the 16th birthday, the sweet 16. It's meant to be right. That's not done in Australia. It's not. No, they do. Okay, women do have the Deb Ball, which are normally done around that time. They have their Deb. In other words, they're presented to society, whatever that.
The debutante ball, yeah.
The debutante ball. So they do have that, but it's not a. But that happens to everyone. It's not their birthday. It's just when they get, everyone in that school year, they sort of say, all right, who's doing the Deb this year? Oh, yeah, I am. Okay, yeah. It's a little bit different, and they all get dressed up and the school puts on the big event and all the rest of it. There's not like your 16th birthday. It's 18th birthday. That's the big one when you turn 18. Well,
because they're an adult then. Can they drink at 18 there or is it 21?
Oh, yeah. No, 18.
Oh, at 18. So that's why it's the big one. Yeah. Latin cultures also, and in Mexico and in South America, I know in Latin American areas, they do quinceañeras for the girls when they turn 15. And it's basically that. It's basically being presented. And it's almost like a ball. A lot of girls dress up in really big, beautiful ball gowns. And they have big, big parties. And that's the kind of their coming out party. Yes. So, that's something they do here a lot now in the U.S. because we have so many people from those areas living here now, which is amazing. I love that.
Well, of course. Well, isn't there an argument that a huge amount of people in the south, don't get this right now, in the southwest of the United States, the amount of Spanish-speaking people, even people who have no connection to Spain or to Mexico or to Latin America, but because of school, because of friends, because of the world that they live in now, they speak, not perfect Spanish, but they speak a lot of Spanish.
I don't have anybody in my family that's, from Latin America or Mexican or anything, but, I've learned some Spanish. I like to be able to speak to people, but, from, talking to me before, I like to learn a lot of different languages.
Yeah.
But, here in Florida, we have a lot of people that have come from Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guatemala, a lot of places like that. We have a very integrated society here. A lot of our signs, billboards, things like that in certain areas that have higher populations of people who speak Spanish mostly, they have signs that are all in Spanish, different things like that. Almost everything we have here is written bilingually. Now, we have a huge population of older people who've come here, and no matter how long they've been here, they still don't speak English. Because, when you're older and you come to a new place and you have to learn a language, it's a lot harder to learn it than when you're younger. And so they have a tendency to stay in their communities with other people that speak Spanish, and they rely on their kids or their grandchildren to help them navigate the English-speaking parts of our society here. So we have a large group of kids in their 20s and 30s who are basically American, and they speak what they call Spanglish a lot because it's a mixture of English and Spanish. It's like in a sentence, some words will be English, some words will be Spanish. Some of them are kind of like a little bit of a mix of words, and they actually speak that a lot. Most of them speak English without any kind of an accent, but they go home and they speak nothing but Spanish to their families because that's what their grandparents or parents know. So I think it's very interesting. And I actually really appreciate being in a situation where I've been given the opportunity to kind of be immersed in a lot of ways in other languages here. We also have a very high Muslim population coming from the Middle East here. So we have, in my neighborhood alone, this new neighborhood I moved into, within our subdivision, one of our neighbors we were talking to, we were counting 30 different nationalities that live just within our subdivision.
Wow,
and
30.
That's amazing and wonderful, and I feel so blessed to live in a place with so many different people from all over the world that have come here.
Are they first generation, or are they? I mean, they're not like the people that say, "Oh, I'm Italian." No, your great grandfather was Italian. You're American.
No,
They're not like that.
A lot of them have come over this generation, or
This
their
generation,
parents have come.
right?
Yes,
Yep.
or their parents have come, and maybe they were very young when they came, but their parents came,
Yep.
and so they've been here. And now, like the family next to us, they are Pakistani by culture and by where they came, where his parents came from. But he's now grown. His parents live here with him in the house, and his wife. They have a multi-generational home just like we do here, and their children are just American kids. And they, they've been here for so long. They're very American too. It's very interesting. But they still have they still, completely practice their culture. We see them in some just really beautiful outfits, and just, it's so really cool to see it. And they're going to actually come over one night and teach us, like, we're going to share cultural meals. They're going to teach us how to cook some Pakistani food. So we're super excited.
Oh, that's brilliant. Pakistani food is actually really nice. I've only ever had it once, I'll be truthful, because generally speaking, in Australia anyway, if you go out to eat of what's called the subcontinent, what's based around India, so India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, that part of the world. Right. Generally speaking, it is dominated by Indian style cooking. Now, of course, India is a bit like China. There is not one Indian culture. There are fucking so 50, 60, 100, right? Yeah. And all the cooking is different. But because there's so many, it dominates. But I remember once I did go out to a Pakistani restaurant, and it's similar, but it's different. It's quite different. And I must
really excited to try it.
Very yummy. Very, very yummy, I have to admit.
And what I thought was really cool too, and just out of the blue, the people that live next door to us that I was just talking about, the wife, she was my son's digital animation teacher at his high school when he was a senior in high school. So it was actually really strange that we just randomly moved in next door to them. But I thought that was great.
But there's the other thing too. So I've seen this a number of times. And maybe it's a bit of an Australian thing, and also maybe it's a bit about where I live within Australia as well. But I have been out in the shops where I have seen, and we're talking teenagers here, we're not talking, 40-year-olds or something like that. Teenage girls walking around with the headscarf, right? So they've got the headscarf on.
Right.
With the shortest miniskirt you have ever seen.
Well, look, I'm not going to even start to question that.
I'm not talking about whether it's right. What I'm saying is that they're finding their own place.
Absolutely they are.
Right?
Yes.
So in other words, they're still practicing elements of their religion, but they're modifying it for their own world. Because they're now living in a Muslim Australia. They're not living like their grandparents did in Syria or in Afghanistan or in Azerbaijan or wherever it was. And I think that's really, I think it's fascinating to see cultures develop like that.
I do too. I do too, especially to see where young people push society to move and how they actually kind of mold society as you go forward, whether or not, the older people really realize it.
It's a little bit like, there was the argument that they used to say in Egypt, women used to lie on the beaches in their bikinis in the 1970s. By the 1990s, they weren't allowed to go to the beach anymore. Now in 2020, they're going back to the beach again, right? So in other words, we're finding cultures go through stages, they develop, they go through whatever they go through. I just when I see something like that, I sort of go, multiculturalism, I hate when I hear people say multiculturalism fails, it's pathetic, it's disgusting, No, it's brilliant. I love the idea of the mishmash of cultures creating a new culture.
Yeah.
You know, because the whole point, and it also annoys me so much when I hear a white Australian sort of say multiculturalism is wrong. Okay, well, even if you want to say, right, you want to end where immigration is in Australia, let's say in stop the Vietnamese. So let's say 1969. That's the point you want to end it. You're still then a mixture of Irish, English, Greek, Spanish, Christ knows every bloody Eastern European and Mediterranean language, nation that there is. That's multiculturalism, because you're a mixture of that. You're a white woman who's sitting down eating goulash, right? Goulash is not an Australian fucking meal.
No, it is not.
Right? You know, so I
not originally, no.
Anyway, bit of my rant's over. I think it's wonderful. I love seeing it. And I love your idea of the parties. I think it just sounds so cool.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, God. All right. I definitely don't need to be drinking a lot more wine.
Okay. All right. Anyway. I'll tell you what I am doing. I'm setting, apparently, a record in the highest level of human achievement right now. And you can't see it, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to explain what I've just done. So if everyone's ready, just listen. You won't be able to hear anything. I've just taken a sip of water out of a glass using only one hand. Now, apparently, this is the new standard that people need to be judged on. Can you do it or can't you do it? And it's so important. A certain person actually spent 10 minutes demonstrating to a crowd that he could do it. How fucking low do we need to go?
You know, it wasn't just that because honestly, once all that happened, you knew his ego wasn't going to let him not fixate on it and rant about it because he felt slighted and made fun of. Therefore, he had to attack people and talk about it a lot. But what really killed me was different candidates that are running for Congress who came onto Twitter after it happened and not being sarcastic, not in any way being facetious or tongue-in-cheek, declared him to be the greatest president ever because he picked up and drank his glass with one hand and then threw it to the side. And I thought, we're doomed.
I know we're not going to get heavyweight. We're going to be lighthearted about this. But I'll tell you something. This is what I think every Democrat should do from every speech they do from this point on. This was if I was advising anyone in the Democrat, if I was advising Joe Biden, any of them, every single press. Okay. No, but every single press conference you do, stop and take a sip of water using one hand out of a glass and then throw the glass down. Every single Democrat should do it to prove that they're... And they should say, just to prove that we're up to the standards...
They also, he ranted about the whole ramp thing for a long time too. So
General,
perfectly,
my shoes
somebody
are made of leather. I'm going to grab you and not by the pussy. I'm going to grab you walking down this thing. Get ready.
It was great too because somebody then, and I don't think it was, and I. Honestly, I hope it wasn't Joe Biden's campaign. But somebody made a little ad with Joe running up the ramp and down the ramp, same one, and I
believe that was.
And it was also with him and Obama jogging through the White House, and it was perfectly done.
I believe that was the Lincoln Project. I think
that them? Okay,
I believe it was the Lincoln Project. Yeah,
I have mixed feelings about them right now. So,
what are they meant to be? They're Republicans who have gone anti-Trump. Is that the idea of who they are?
Yes, but here's my thing about that. While we all appreciate them making fun of Trump, and yes, while the ads are brutal, what I think is happening in the same way that's happening with people like George Conway married to Kellyanne Conway, who is, her head's so far up Trump's ass. That's where, her makeup probably comes from. I just feel like, I'm sorry, that was rude. And she deserves every bit of it.
No, I'll tell you a story in a minute.
Yeah, well, I don't trust these people because you've got these people who are coming out and saying all these things against Trump while they are working toward building, so George Conway is getting money because Kellyanne's making money. And I seriously doubt if they have totally separate bank accounts, but maybe they do. But the people like Lincoln Project, I fear, are lulling people on the left, and especially centrist kind of people and more moderate people, into believing that these people have their best interests at heart, that these are people you can trust because they made brutal ads against Trump when they were trying to get him out. Now, he's destroying the GOP. He's destroying the Republican Party. They want him out, of course, but they're also doing things now like building data and things like that with people following them and signing up onto their petitions and different things like that I think they're going to use against us later once Trump is finally out of office and we start to try to turn the country around. I just think it's they're like the troll under the bridge.
Well, do you know what I actually think that they're trying? I agree with what you're saying, absolutely, especially building a database. Never underestimate what a database is worth. It's like competitions. How do we pay for a free car? You sell the friggin' database after you give it away. That's how you pay for the free car. So never underestimate that.
Or use it for nefarious purposes, know.
Yes, I know. It's the what was I going to say? It was like those people who, I don't know if you get them in America, get them in Australia. They ring up and they say, I just want to ask you a few questions. And, who do you want to do this? And you go back and you realize, but they're not actual pollsters. They're not working for political parties. They're not working for known pollster companies. They're just businesses mining data to build databases that they can sell. And if they get one person in 100 that answers them, that's fine. They've made 10 million phone calls. Yeah. Right? So they build up. So anyway,
that whole thing that just happened with the Tulsa rally that Trump had where they were claiming they had a million requests for tickets and then the K-pop bands and all TikTokers. You know what? I am so proud of those kids. Like, I couldn't be more proud. But what I feel like, people don't realize is that the reason why Pascal was, crowing about the million people is because that whole thing is all about getting data and email addresses and things like that. Now, thank God what happened because those, first of all, those are a bunch of kids that are probably, a lot of them, underage, and there was no box that they ticked to say that I am 18 years of age or older. So they collected data on, those that actually put in their data, their real stuff, on a bunch of underage kids in a lot of respects, which is against the law here because they are so incompetent that they couldn't even collect data without fucking it up. And now luckily most of the stuff they got probably is worthless to them. But that's what they're doing here. They're just literally mining people's info.
Well, data mining, I'll put I wanted to tell this when you're talking about, was it Kellyanne Conway? I still remember, I still think that great line, what is it, Kellyanne Conway, the only woman in the world that does her makeup during the water bucket challenge.
Oh, good Lord!
I thought that was hilarious. You have to go back. You have to go back a couple of years though for that to make sense. But
I know what you're talking about. She's looking a little better these days. We think she's had some work done. And as Kristen Johnson said on Twitter, that's what in Hollywood we call refreshed.
Look, honestly, I've nothing against her if she had some work done personally.
I don't mind that.
Right, but
she's just horrible anyway.
Well, the other thing too is that she's part of that group which says freedom of speech. You're allowed to say anything you like, and if people don't like it, they're just snowflakes. So my argument is, you can say whatever you like about her, because she gave you permission. So if you want to say she's the ugliest bitch in the world, go for it, because she said it's okay.
Yeah, and those aren't even the alternative facts.
That's exactly right. No, but talking about data mining, I totally lost. Sorry, I've totally lost. Forgot what I was.
No, you were okay. On track.
There was a story I was going to tell you about data mining, which I always thought was fascinating. Maybe it'll come back to me. Sorry. But I think what the Lincoln Project, apart from data mining, I think they're trying to do something else as well, and that is that they've written Trump off, but they still want to hold on to the House.
Of course.
Right, and I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get non-Trump. But Republican candidates. Oh, sorry, the Senate, I should say. Yes.
Yeah, the Senate.
They're trying to. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm Australian. I get a bit confused.
No. It wasn't you. I said yes, and I had to correct myself.
No. Yeah, but I do. Sometimes I forget that it's you. The House is the lower one. The Senate is the House of Representatives is the lower one. The Senate, even though Australia has used the same terms. Anyway.
It's just.
But I kind of forget. Plus, you have half-term elections, and I still remember when I was younger, I heard about there's just been an election in America, and I thought, but hang on, this president didn't. What the fuck? Half-term? Oh. I didn't understand. I remember it took me a lot. It took me until I was probably in my mid-20s before I understood what the fuck the what do you call it? Where you have so many people from each state go to Washington to elect the president. The college, the electoral college. Yeah. I couldn't understand that. I didn't understand how that worked. Anyway.
A lot of Americans don't understand how it works, and they keep changing how it works every time we go around this. So yeah.
And but I do remember I was fascinated to find out that apparently, if you go back 100 years or something, there was somebody that voted against the results. So candidate A won in their state, so they were then obligated to vote for candidate A, obviously, when they went to Washington. But they didn't.
No, they are not obligated.
Sorry.
That's the difference.
Okay, sorry, I'll rephrase that. They're expected. Would that be a better term?
They are expected, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this person didn't. And this is like 100 years ago or something. And so go look it up if you're interested. Apparently it did happen. One candidate did actually vote against the vote of their state. But it's not within one time. Anyway, yes, but I think it's all about the Senate. It's about keeping Republicans in the Senate, or even maybe taking back, or at least holding on to ground in the House of Representatives, but losing the presidency. So in other words, the Lincoln Project have said, or in other words, these non-Trump Republicans have said, we're going to write off the presidency, but we're going to do our utmost to hang on to the Senate. And I wonder if that's it as well. It's not just data mining, it's also that.
I wouldn't doubt that has something to do with it. A lot of the people involved with a lot of these folks are people who've been around with the Federalist Society for years. We don't even know who funds them. Meghan McCain's husband runs the thing, I think, and they won't even tell anybody who funds them.
She's fucking weird, that woman. Meghan McCain. I mean, 1 minute I want to respect her, but she's
insufferable.
But she's anti-Trump, so you want to go woohoo. But then at the same time, she stands for the weirdest, fucked up ideology.
Look,
like I reckon she's almost worse than he is.
She's anti-Trump because Trump insulted her father.
Family,
and don't you know who her father is?
Her father is. Yes, I do know who her father is. Who died recently.
That's the question. She would have never been anybody had her father not been who he was. And honestly, she would have never had any kind of a career in TV or anything like that. And she's married to this guy, honestly, because of who her father was. I mean, I'm sure that's how they met. I don't know that she would have had a chance to meet people from the Federalist Society otherwise, because I doubt if she would have been into deep Republican politics if her father hadn't been involved in politics. But, I think she's fucking insufferable. And it doesn't matter if she hates Trump, because most people hate Trump. What matters to me is what kind of bullshit she spouts all the time, and how she has an American flag. I'm so patriotic. I have an American flag
living room.
My mantle.
I've seen it.
It's like, bitch, that doesn't mean you're patriotic, okay? That means you want people to believe you're patriotic. And in my opinion, that's no better than people who go to church every day and be super Jesus-y and churchy out in public all the time, because it's not necessarily really about your faith, but you want other people to know how fucking fucking pious you are. And I have a real fucking problem with those kinds of people. Excuse my language, except don't.
Well, this is one of the things that's really different. Is you can go into an Australian house and you will not see it in a living room. Okay, unless it's a, I don't know, they're fucking 17 years old and they've moved out of home early or something, right? Okay, but you might see it in someone's study or something like that. An Australian flag on the wall, all right? I've seen it.
Right.
But I've got a friend who, very nice guy, and you can actually see, because I have done lots of online meetings with him. I'm not going to name him or anything like that. But he's got an Australian flag flying in his office, right, around him and everything, right, along with all these little toys and cars and toy cars, all the beer cans, whiskey bottles, whatever, all this stuff. So it's his. I know a lot of people don't use like the word. It's his retreat. It's his retreat. I won't use the word man cave, but so anyway, but he does huge amounts of work. Anyway, this is not the point. But there's an Australian flag. Now, I know him. He's a very, very patriotic guy. He loves Australia dearly. He's very proud of that flag and all the rest of it. However, will he take the piss out of his own country? Fuck yes. All right? Would he wrap himself in that thing? God, no. Right? It's a little bit like, it's there, I'm proud, but no fucking way would he put it above the fireplace in the living room. Do you know what I mean? That's just, to me, that's one of, it's like one of those people who, do you know what it actually says to me? It's almost also like an insecurity. There is a great line in, it's an old British movie called Sink the Bismarck, okay? And there is a great line in, and they're talking about the Nazis, as in the German Nazis of the Second World War. And the big naval battle is going on, and they're in Admiralty House, and they're doing. And one of the naval officers is talking to his secretary, and he's just sounding off her and stuff like that. And he goes, "Well, we know the Bismarck is damaged. Now, will she sail back to port, or will she stay in the fight? Like, what will she do?" And then the man goes, "What would you do?" And his secretary, who's still an officer, she's a pretty high up person, but you know what I mean, she's still secretary in a public service sense of secretary. And she says, "Well, I'm not very brave, so I'd probably go back to port." And he goes, "Yes, that would be the smart thing to do. But these people are Nazis. I've fought these people before." and this is a really interesting thing. And he goes, "Their one great weakness, they must prove their patriotism every day." Right. And I thought, wow, that's so. In other words, that concept is they couldn't go back to port because that would be viewed as being weak, like not weak as a person, but weak to the cause. And I thought that's fucking Megan McCain, right? It's that's why she's got to prove it every day. Like she has to walk down the street literally painted in the colours of the flag to prove to the world, which makes me almost sort of say, is that because you don't think you're quite good enough? Like what's psychologically going on inside that head?
I've often wondered that, and I don't know. But, you know, right now I think she's got baby brain. I hear she's pregnant or something. Dear God.
I believe she is, yeah. I believe she is.
But, you know, I wish her well. I just wish her well away from me.
Yes.
I just don't like that woman at all. So,
it's,
you know, what I find what's really weird, especially now in our country, is that these people who, when Obama was president and previously, the people who often are the most extreme right-wing people and oftentimes are the ones, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, but they're also often the ones who are engaged in a deeper level of maybe evangelical Christianity, right. Non-denominational, just kind of a different and a deeper level, homeschooling their kids kind of people, right. That they used to be the ones that screamed and shouted about how patriotic they were and all these things, and America this and America that, and the Constitution this and the Constitution that. I literally had somebody who, and honestly, he wasn't a conservative. He claimed to be a libertarian, which, Oh God. But he actually had put on his Twitter handle or his bio that he came out of the womb clutching the Constitution. And I asked him if his mother was upset about the paper cuts. So,
Brilliant. I love it.
So, yeah, we became begrudging friends after that because he had to laugh when I said it. And so, but I still never, ever will let up if he says anything to me. And after a while, it's been a while since he said anything to me. He came back recently and said something stupid. And so I chastised him, said, you waited all this time to come out of nowhere and say something that was fucking pointless and ignorant. So... I was like, why would you do that?
I remember I was a huge fan of a show. I don't even know if it's still going. Well, it won't be right now, but The Amazing Race. Do you remember The Amazing Race?
Oh, God,
an American reality TV show, or scripted reality, I should say. Yeah. And, no, wasn't really scripted reality. It was a bit of a mix.
Okay.
Anyway, for about 3 years, I fell in love with this show. Could not miss an episode. Right, could not miss an episode, and
it happened here too.
And anyway, there was one. They were in Switzerland, and I still remember there was this guy and his wife with this other guy and his wife, and they supposedly hated, these two couples hated each other. It was all played as the other, and they're there and they're in this cheese tasting area in a place in Switzerland, right, at a dairy. And they're having a go at each other, sausage factory. That's what it was sausage factory. Okay. And they're doing something, right? They're saying, you've got a term in America, where you put someone down all the time. You trash talking them or something, right?
Yeah.
So they were doing that. They were doing that concept of trash talking, and one of them said, the guy said something to the wife in the other couple, right? Mm-hmm. And then she looked at him. She had this huge smile on her face because she thought it was so funny. And then suddenly he started smiling. And then you see someone, and you realise these people aren't fucking enemies, right?
Well,
I mean, it's like
I'm going to admit though, I will laugh if somebody gets a good one on me, even if I'm mad.
Yeah,
so.
but what I mean is that even if you disagree, you can find common ground.
That's absolutely true. Now, I don't want to hear from him very much at all. But when it happens, at least I have somebody I can, hit real hard with something, and they go away for a while, which works out for me. It makes me feel powerful. But what I was going to say before was the reason why I was talking about that is because those are the people who, when Obama was president, they really claimed to be the patriots and stuff. And now that Trump is in office, and these are the people, the Tea Partiers, and which we like to call tea baggers, which is lovely, with their tri-corn hats out there dressed like, and talking about how it was all about the Constitution. Well, as soon as Trump got in, they're throwing the fucking Constitution out the window, and they basically made him a king, and they don't believe that anybody should stop him from doing whatever the hell he wants. And if people are in the streets protesting their injustices and grievances against their government, then by all means send the fucking military out there and kill them all. That's literally what these people have become now. So that shows me that their patriotism was not about being a patriot. Look, I love my country. I do. I am a patriot. But I also know that in order to love your country, you have to be able to tell it what the fuck is wrong with it. And you have to be able to say, we have to work together to make it better because I love my country and I love the people who are in it. I don't give a shit about who's president. I want to make sure that the people in our country are supposed to be this great American melting pot of people from all over the world, which we are. I want to make sure they're good. I want to make sure everybody's okay. Well, so it really bothers me when they call themselves patriots even now. It's like, get the fuck out of here. You're wearing hats from China and you're, talking about how, Trump should be able to send people into the streets to shoot protesters. It's outrageous to me. So that's what makes it weird to me, is that these people never were patriots. They really are just sycophants and toadies and simple-minded folk who really all they care about is seeing the people they hate cry.
Yeah. It's always, this is one of the things, I think we might have even raised this last week. It's not about what you're for, it's what you're against. Now, when your politics,
that's all they are. What do they hate?
And when your actually, we didn't talk about it last week. I was talking to a friend about it last Sunday. Actually,
what are you trying to say? That I'm not a friend now?
No. Another friend. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I have to. I'm sorry. I have to do that. It's just inside of me. It has to come out. Sorry.
And we were actually talking about what's going on in the world right now, just the general world. And I'm paraphrasing a bloody 4-hour conversation over a couple of bottles of red wine. And but the thing that we came down to was that the thing that we hated about extreme politics, and this didn't matter whether it was the extreme right or the extreme left, although you don't really see much of the extreme left these days. They're kind of disappeared. I mean, you really don't see them, do you? I mean, I know
they're not trying to blow things up right now.
No, it's
we're not doing that kind of environmental activism on those levels.
Their time kind of finished. 9/11 kind of killed them off, I think, to a degree.
Well, we're still here. Still
here. But they're not.
They're not doing extreme things to get attention.
Right. No. That's exactly right. No. They're definitely something of the the 60s, 70s, or not the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. Definitely was their time. Now we're in the time of the extreme far right, and the thing is that. The thing about them is that, yes, look, as we just said, it's not about what they're for. They're not actually fucking for anything. It's about what they're against. And when your politics or when your ideology or your whole idea of life is about what I'm against rather than what I'm for, it's a pretty sad place to be. I'm just talking as an individual. Forget politics.
No, I agree with you.
Just as a person, it's a pretty sad place to be. And we then went on and we sort of said, we kind of looked at each other, not in that loving, tender way or anything like that. We just looked at each other as two guys who sort of said, we're fucking lucky is what I'm trying to say. I'm just joking with you. I'm just having fun. All right?
That was an odd statement.
I'm just trying to keep serious topics lighthearted. The thing was that we both basically said and agreed. The idea was that we are so fucking lucky right now, 2020, that we live in a country like Australia. Now, we could have had the same conversation in Denmark or Norway or Canada or New Zealand, right? It doesn't have to be Australia. It's just that we happen to be.
As long as it's not the US.
Right. Okay. But the thing was that what we were saying is that we don't have extremism here. And when we do, it's so small, it's laughable. Yeah. Right? And the thing is that, and even when we do get extremists on the TV, they're only there to try to get ratings and money. It's just the TV networks, you know what I mean, trying to stir up some dollars. It's not that anyone believes any of this shit. And so that's the thing. I think I told you, the far right wing of Australia. What was its vote in the last election? 3%. Fucking nuts. It's irrelevant, right? It's absolutely irrelevant. And we just sort of said we are so lucky, like of all the countries to be born into at this time.
Right.
Like how, and I'm not trying to make you feel depressed.
Oh, no.
Sorry, please don't.
Look, I'm already depressed. It has nothing to do with it. I never thought that I would see the day growing up that I would ever see my country like this. People talked about it. They said, fear mongering and blah, 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 and it would never happen. And I kind of believed it until I saw us moving in a weird direction. And then I started to sound the alarm and people called me, an alarmist. And they said, you're just thinking the worst. And then now here we are. And I can't say that we're not that far from other steps that I'm worried about. And, I try to be reasonable and I try not to lose it, but extremism is bad in any way it comes.
Anyway,
in anything. And I have a real fear about people in my country falling for, like you said, the things that they're afraid of. Some people's brains simply are affected more by fear of something than they are by hope of something or belief in something. I see it happening all the time. I feel like it kind of ties in with the systematic effort to defund our public education system over and over again, because honestly, when you keep the masses ignorant, ignorant people are more easy to frighten, and frightened people are easier to control. So it's easier to keep people dumb and stupid and keep them, fighting against each other while you sneak off into the other side and steal all their money, and destroy our democracy.
It's like, think about, I saw on YouTube there was an advert for a new Spanish film which is coming out, which is set during the Spanish Civil War. And it makes you think. I mean, imagine, like, if you're in the 30s, you live in Spain, you might be living in a rural town where the town is controlled by anarchists and it's been seized by fascists. Wow, what a choice I've got. Do you know what I mean?
The anarchists.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. Don't. I know what you mean. Well, it's a bit like the old line of Winston Churchill. Not that I want to quote Winston Churchill, because he was a bit of an ass, in my opinion. But it's a little bit like, I will make a deal with the devil if it means we stop Nazism. And he was talking about why had Britain aligned with the Soviet Union, and he basically said, I will make a deal with the devil to stop Hitler. So you do have that. Yes, it's like you end up fighting for the fucking anarchists. It's like, I don't believe in this shit, but...
Well, we discussed my new podcast thing I'm going to be doing. So that scripted thing.
Yes.
It's a little anarchist. I'm just going to be honest
with you. No. I'm not. No. There's a difference between...
It's post-apocalyptic anarchy.
Yeah, that's a little bit. There's a difference between real concept of anarchy of the 1930s versus Mad Max type anarchy of a movie come radio play. There's a somewhat of a difference. Do you know what I mean?
We shall see.
But yes, but no, it just... But the whole point was, it just went back to... Because we did bring up a point, and that is that are countries like Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, are we going to end up being the Switzerlands of the future? Are we going to end up being caught up in this fight of nonsense? Because if we are, I know what Switzerland went through in 1939 to 1945, and a lot of people who think it's all Nazi gold, everyone in Switzerland was bathing in gold dust. It was so wonderful. Do you know Switzerland had harsher rationing than Britain during the Second World War? Because they could only had enough food to feed 30% of the population.
Oh, wow.
You don't want to get caught up in all of this shit. So all I can say is, please sort it out.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, we already running low on food just because of the whole coronavirus thing.
Toilet paper. Have you seen? Okay, in Australia, we had a slight run on. There's been some spikes that have come up. Like we got down to, like, Australia's had 102 deaths, I think. I think the number of cases was down to like 300 or something of people who actually had it. But then we got some spikes, and I think we raised it by about 100 people or something like that. I think it was one death and about 100 new cases or something. Well, that put the government into fucking meltdown mode. So they've now brought in, we've now gone back a couple of months in regards to restrictions and everything again. And in parts of the south of Australia, where, and here you go, monitoring via an app. The government knows where the spikes are because they can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, they've found spikes where they've had spikes. They've just brought in a 10-day blitz on testing. 100. Now, this is only in the areas where the spikes are. This is not the whole country, right? This is just the towns where the spikes are. okay?
Yeah.
100,000 tests in 10 days. They're at day 3 right now, and they've already done 30,000 tests.
Yeah.
So they're on full blast, massive, we're going to test the shit out of it. So, and in other words, what they're doing is they're treating it like fire services treat fires. In other words, something started here, they rush a unit there to douse it, rush another. So they're actually trying to deal with corona the way a fire service deals with bushfires. Or what do you call them? Forest fires. Yeah.
Yeah, brush fires.
So they're actually dealing with it like that, and it seems to be working. It seems to be working really, really well. The idea of the government at the moment is test, and test as many tests as is humanly possible. But they bought in 1 million tests from. They did a deal with some private company. They bought in another 1 million tests out of China. Their idea is test and test and test. Test everyone. Everyone, just test and test and test.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, but you see,
here in Florida, yesterday we had our highest number of cases that were tested positive. We actually had 9,000 cases, basically, here in the state of positive, and that was like that's a 13%. 13% of the people who are being tested are testing positive here in Florida right now. And we actually are doing more testing than almost any other state currently.
Well, that's good.
We've done like 71,500 tests or something, and that's like 13,000 more than we had done on our previous high. But we are still testing at 13%. And they're, thinking about opening up more theme parks and shit like that. They just closed down our bars. They're not allowed to serve alcohol again. But they were so quick to try to jump and have everything open up when we weren't even having the testing at the time, that it's led to just another explosion. And now they're saying, oh, we only know about more cases. It's like, no, these cases were here. You guys just know about them now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Trump saying, well, if we didn't do any testing, we wouldn't have any cases. Yeah, it's like, what do you think? They're getting COVID? They're getting COVID from the tests? Like, what do you think is happening?
Don't worry. The world looked at that and went, "What the fuck?" So you don't have to worry. That's not a point of anyone who honestly believes what he said there was right. No, the whole world went, "What the fuck?" Okay, about the only country that probably supported him, that was maybe Brazil, who went, yeah, let's just pretend this is not happening in Brazil. It doesn't happen in Brazil. It's not here.
I feel like Russia is also backing that up.
I believe they are testing.
They're like, yes, you don't need testing. You're fine.
I think the problem is they can't afford the tests. I think that's the problem. It's not. I think Russia. Well, yeah,
I'm not. No, I don't even know what Russia's doing there. I think they're fine. They're encouraging Trump not to test.
Oh yes. Oh no, true. But my understanding in Russia itself, I think their personal thing is we need to test. We can't afford the test. We don't have the test. We can't afford it because we've got no money. We're broke. You know, Russia is. It's like sort of saying what. I mean, it's friggin'. Russia is like a nation of 100 million people with the fucking economy of Portugal. Do you know,
that's not. I mean, the way they ran their country for years, and then they opened it up to capitalism in a sense. So they have this terrible oligarchy going on there now, where the bunch of people are rich and everybody else is still kind of suffering.
Their problem is corruption. Their problem is totally corruption. I mean,
absolutely.
That's it.
It's our problem here too.
Russia. No, but I'm talking.
But we don't have people dying, falling out of windows all the time. I really would. If I was Putin, I would be really looking into some structural investigations in their windows. I mean, my God, how does this keep happening?
It's very interesting. It's very interesting, isn't it? Oh, poor old Russia. I feel so sorry for him. Russia. They had it hard. When the Soviet Union fell and they lost half their fucking country. Well, by population anyway, not by area, but by population. And then suddenly, they were living in the fucking third world, amongst first world nations, and they did an amazing job to bring themselves back. But the downside to that is that basically the country's run by the fucking mafia.
It absolutely is.
And it's like, Jesus, Now, and ask Italy how that works. I mean, the fact now that if you like in parts of Italy, where you know, like a farmer's market, something as simple as a farmer's market, I'm going to bring my celery and my beetroot and my oranges and what, and I'm going to sell them at the farmer's market, you know, or my pies that I baked, or my, do you know what I mean, right? I'm going to bring here and I'm going to sell it. And they have to have armed carabinieri walking around with machine guns to defend the store holders from standover by the mafia. Now that's, do you know what I mean? Okay. That's when...
Oh, yeah, that's extreme.
Okay.
Now I'm going to say that here in our county and surrounding areas here in Orlando and Central Florida, the people who run all of the farmers markets in almost every little quaint city here, they should basically be a mafia.
Right.
You can't get into those things.
But they're not
it's
doing
run by
but
like
they're not
two
doing...
people, and they're like, "No, fuck you. You can't get in."
Oh, no. Well, that's corruption.
To get a stall, I mean. So,
yes, I know. I mean, that's corruption, but that's not violent standover. If you like.
No. I was being a little facetious.
I know. But
facetious, excuse me.
But the problem with Italy, so you take Italy to the Russian, so you go from Italian mafia to Russian mafia, where you've now got where you've now got the, well, yes, they're all in the same boat, aren't they? Where you've now
it's like New York mafia.
Yeah, where you've now got the farmers market, like in fucking St. Petersburg. Well, St. Petersburg's not a great example. Maybe get a little bit more rural. All right, so in whatever town you've got the farmers market, and or equivalent of, and the thing is that you will have Spetsnaz units maybe walking around, but the problem is they're kind of but they're working with the oligarchs, the mafia. They may be government paid, but the fucking government or the local council is in bed with the fucking oligarch. So
it's just all corruption.
So the Spetsnaz of that area is working literally for the mafia. So instead in Italy, where the carabinieri are there to protect you, in Russia, the Spetsnaz are there to make sure that you pay the protection money.
Right.
So it's a very weird fucking place of the world, you know. Yeah,
there's all kinds of shit going on, man. Everywhere.
It really is. But anyway, I think we should take a quick break, if that is all right, and then we will be right back.
Okay.
And we are back, and after that, I don't know, 3-second break, which was a little bit longer for us.
3 seconds.
So what is it? It's bigger on the inside.
It's smaller on the outside.
Smaller on the outside. Oh, but I always liked it when everyone says it's bigger on. There was one episode where someone
It was Clara. It was the Impossible
who
Girl.
walked in, who actually said, who is not the real or the Impossible Girl, but now we have the Immortal Child, which is anyway. Was it she who made the lines, "Oh yes, it's time and relative dimension in space," and Matt Smith just or was it Peter Capaldi? Must have been Matt Smith who said, "Oh, I like it better when people just say it's bigger on the inside."
I think that was him. Yeah,
it was something along those lines. I thought that was very good. I'm so disappointed that you're 2 years behind in Doctor Who.
Are we?
Well, you haven't watched any of the latest...
me personally. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just discussing this with my son today, and I had admitted to him that I still hadn't watched the final episode of The Magicians, because I really have a real hard time ending something that I love. So I was going back to the beginning of all of the seasons of The Magicians and rewatching it so that I could finally watch the final episode. Okay. I told you not long ago I hadn't watched any of the new Doctor.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to support her, and it's not that I don't want to watch it, because I really do. But Matt Smith, honestly, in that Doctor was my first real Dr. Love, because my cousin had tried to get me to watch him way back in the 80s. I wasn't having any of that shit. It was just like, I can't wrap my head around this, because, I was a 15 or 16-year-old girl, and I was not thinking about Doctor Who. So, although I was playing Dungeons and Dragons every summer,
I lived my life. I lived my life. I wanted this TARDIS to appear in my street, and I could just hop in and run away with the Doctor. So, when I was like a 13-year-old, all I wanted to do was just escape in the TARDIS from my life. There was all I wanted to do. It was a dream. I'd go to bed dreaming of that.
I just want to say that I never, ever, ever wanted to like the Doctor. But when my son would watch Matt Smith on the show with Amy and Rory, so I would be doing things in the house. Be still my
beating heart.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I would be in the house doing things, walking through the room, and I would you gotta stop.
Sorry.
You gotta stop.
Sorry. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry.
Pineapple.
Sorry.
No.
All right, okay.
Sorry. Inside joke, y'all.
No. Sorry.
So I would be walking through the room doing things, and I would just stop and watch, and I started to actually get kind of invested in the show, and the whole thing about fish fingers and custard, like I went back and watched everything. Bow ties are cool. Just
cool.
Raggedy Man.
Yeah.
You're late for my wedding. Like everything about that drew me in, and that whole thing. So I loved him so much. And then they got rid of Amy and Rory, and we got Clara, and I really loved her. I thought, my God, she's my favorite. I really, really love the Impossible Girl. So I was very invested in the show, and then he regenerated, and I thought I might die. And I literally felt my heart rip out of my body. Right. And I thought, God, I am such a geek, but I couldn't I couldn't deal with it. And then I gave Peter Capaldi a chance, and I loved him. And he wasn't Matt Smith at all, but he was still amazing. And his whole thing with River Song, and the whole episode where he had, the multiple episodes where he had been billions of years in the Diamond Wall.
Yes.
And
yeah.
My God, it was so beautifully done. And then Clara died, and then he was going to regenerate. And, every year it was kind of like the Christmas episode, and then it was over, and I watched everything right up to that last episode, and I still have not watched that episode where he regenerates. And I just can't do it. But I want to.
You passed Clara,
though. But I.
Did you get his last season though? With
Yes, I watched all of it, and I got what's going on. Like, I get it, okay, and. It's just, I don't know if I can emotionally take it. I get very, very wrapped up in fantasy stories since I was a young teen,
You may have some problems because in the last episode of the second season of Jodie Whittaker, all Doctor Who canon has been rewritten. The entire story is now in the rubbish bin, and we've started from scratch.
No, I don't like it. Nope, never going to watch it now. Sorry.
It's do not worry. There are so many fans who are up in arms and it's all because of this one showrunner. I've forgotten his fucking name.
Thank you. I was just thinking about how once Stephen Moffat left, I was like, fuck this. I can't.
And Doctor Who canon has now been changed. Although I did hear a guy on the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, and he was talking about Doctor Who canon. He said, "Hang on, I'm old enough. Like, he's our age, right?" And he sort of said, "Now, hang on a second. I remember Colin Baker as the 1, 2, 3, 4." 5, 6, 7th Doctor, as the 7th Doctor, doing battle with the Matrix on Gallifrey, where the Matrix was controlled by the Master to rewrite history, So, if
Well, when you deal with time, you're going to inevitably get a whole rewrite.
It's all timey-wimey, you know. So
yes,
if
thank you.
So one of the greatest lines I think ever written. Oh, it's all timey-wimey. You can't explain something. Is that where they've taken the show now? If they realise that the fans have just gone, what the fuck? I don't necessarily want to tell you what's happened, just in case you really do actually decide to watch it.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to tell you. All I'm going to tell you is they've rewritten Time Lord history, Gallifreyan history. Everything has been rewritten. Okay,
so we're in a new timeline, basically.
Well, we're in the same timeline. It's just that what we were told since 1963 was not true.
But we saw it happen.
No, we saw it happen. No. What happened on Gallifrey that we were told is not true. Not what happened in the show. That's all real, okay? In other words, okay, the Doctor right now is the, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th Doctor, okay?
Yeah, the 13th.
14th technically, because we have the War Doctor. All right, so you've got so 14. And Matt Smith did a deal somehow or other with Gallifrey through the crack in time to give him extra lives. That's how they broke the 13th life clause, okay? Now, okay. But now we find out that's not true, because all of that is thrown on its head because of the immortal child. And we have to see who the immortal child is. All I will say is what I always loved about Doctor Who was the idea was that it was, well, then a guy, now a girl, doesn't matter, a person, right? A person who viewed society and said, fuck you, I don't want to have anything to do with your society. I'm going to run away. I'm going to see the world. Well, in other words, in their concept, the universe, right? It was a 1960s 21-year-old who lived in Leeds in England, who said, fuck you, I'm going to India. Fuck you, I'm going to Canada. Do you know what I mean? I want to see the world. And that's what Doctor Who was. There were no one special. They were just this rebellious person. In other words, the Doctor could be anyone. The Doctor could be you, or the Doctor could be me, right? The problem
it's like into the Spider-Verse now. Anyone can be Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
Yes, you're right. But here's the thing. Not everyone can be Superman, because you have to come from that planet, right? And land on Earth. And what they've now changed, Doctor Who canon, is that you must be Superman. Like the idea that they've changed the concept that the Doctor is no longer just a rebellious Time Lord who said, I'm a hippie and fuck you and I'm leaving, which was fine. Since 1963 or 1962, whenever it was till now, it was fine. And now we have, now I'm Superman. I'm really not too sure that I'm happy with where the canon's gone. I'll be truthfully, I really don't.
Well, you know what I think I'm concerned about along with this is that when we were talking before about whether or not anybody could play a character, I think.
Oh yes, yeah,
yeah. So I think in this situation, when the patriarchy of Doctor Who has been established since the beginning of fucking time, literally, on this, and that they switched finally after all of these regenerations from a male to a female. I think already they were at a disadvantage with the typical fan of the show. Okay, so they had already stressed out a bunch of people who can't take the concept of a character being able to be played by anyone. I feel like once they changed also the showrunner, and they literally kind of destroyed the basis for everything, I think that it basically put our new Doctor then at a real disadvantage to being accepted in the whole genre. Because I'm going to be honest with you. What I've found over time, and being a girl who was always really interested in the geeky things that mostly like they always made fun of like dweeby guys for liking when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I'm somebody who's always fallen into that. I read fantasy novels. I played Dungeons and Dragons. I did those things. I feel like I wasn't accepted a lot of the time, except for the fact that I was like, Travis's cute cousin from, Florida that came to do the, every summer to do the, and play Dungeons and Dragons with us. I wasn't taken seriously as a girl who liked geeky things. Basically everything about that and the game playing and things like that's kind of revolved around guys. And so I think they really put themselves at a disadvantage and I don't disagree with them making her a female, but I think doing it when they actually changed the showrunner and then changed everything, made more fans, especially the male ones, even more against this new Doctor. Because everything about this new generation has just fucked up everything that they have loved of the show forever.
I don't think the problem is the Doctor. I don't think Jodie Whittaker's the problem.
Oh, no, I don't think it's her. It's too much for them. It was too much for the guys who loved the show
I think if Stephen Moffat was still showrunner, we wouldn't be having the problems with Doctor Who.
Exactly, because they might have been able to accept her as the new regeneration of the Doctor it still reinforced their belief in the...
Chris, I'll just call him Chris Shitnell, because that's what he reminds me of. Chris Shitnell, right? Chris Shitnell. I'm just going to call him that from now on. It's actually Chris Chanel or something, right? But just call him Chris Shitnell, because he's the one who's written this stuff. It's not Jodie Whittaker. Now, the problem is Jodie Whittaker is actually very good friends with him, all right? So I understand the loyalties and they're standing by each other and all the rest of it, and I fully get that. But you look at the other thing. This is the thing. You look at Jodie Whittaker and you look at Chris. I hate to say this, but these are two people who were friends, and he is so in the fucking friend zone, and she's the hot chick who was friends with Chris when they were kids, but she went on to marry the cool dude, and Chris is now writing the show, and he's still fucking sitting in envy of the whole thing. I'm sorry, I just said it.
I don't know anything about that. So I'm not going to judge any of that.
No, I'm just talking about life in general. I'm not talking about their personal things, but I'm sure they're nothing like that, right? But what I think
the problem is that they changed everything about what made Doctor Who, and then also did that around putting in the first female as Doctor Who. Now, if they had just put her in as the new regeneration, I think it would have been fine. People still would have gone, oh, grumble, grumble, it's a girl, and Doctor Who's a guy, even though the Doctor is just simply the fucking Doctor, and they're not even human. So, no, exactly. It's like, he's the Doctor, and he's not even human, so why do you fucking care what, genitalia they have? I think it was a combination of the fact that this new showrunner came in and kind of destroyed everything that they had loved. And then on top of that, they made, for the first time ever, the Doctor was a woman. And literally it made geek guys' heads explode. Not everybody, but a lot of them.
Oh, do you know what?
I've seen the stuff I've seen the stuff they're saying.
But you see, I think too, I reckon half the people complaining, even more than half, I'll even go as far as to say 80% of the people complaining about her. Not about... Because I complain about the fucking scripts. I actually think the scripts...
The scripts are the problem, not the actor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think the scripts are appalling at the moment in Doctor Who. But that's not her fault.
That's the showrunner. Okay. No,
that's the showrunner, all right? That's Chris Shitnell, right? Okay, who's doing that. Now, here's the thing. What really annoys me is I've had conversations with people who say, oh, Doctor Who, it's all gone... It's woke. It's woke. And this is the other thing that pisses me off too. Woke. Woke's an anti-racist term. What the fuck does that have to do with fucking Doctor Who?
No, right? I think it's not necessarily an anti-racist term. I think what they're referring to it in a sense is the way they use it kind of over here, which is that you have your eyes open and you see like outside of the patriarchy, blah blah blah. I think it's used in a way that wasn't necessarily it started.
So gay doesn't mean gay, and triggered doesn't mean triggered, and all this sort of stuff. I mean, look,
woke
to me,
just means your eyes are open.
Well, okay, so woke means your eyes are open. All right. So I keep hearing this stuff. Oh, it's so woke. It's so we have to pander to the PC woke crowd. It's a bit like, okay, so what did you think of episode? What did you think of the last episode? Haven't seen it. Well, what did you think about the one before? Haven't seen it. Well, what did you think? Haven't seen it. Well, hang on. No. When did you last watch Doctor Who?
Well,
2000.
Using that
no,
now.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this? 2005. Oh, for fuck's sake! Seriously,
they don't have to watch it because they know.
You're complaining.
They use that term now and taken it in a way to use it as an insult, where they're trying to insult you because, oh, look, you care about things, you have empathy, or you want to see equality in things, so therefore you're woke. And it used to be I recently had 2 people call me that on Facebook, and I love them, and they're friends, they've had since high school that are people of color, and I appreciated them saying it, but I also felt like cringy when they said it. And I was like, please don't call me that, because that's not what I'm trying to do here. These things are just common fucking sense to me. And it's like, look, I get that I lack melanin for sure. I get that. I'm like, my family's like the most fucking Anglo family I have ever seen, because I've seen my genealogy, and my mother had a DNA test. It's pretty embarrassing. But I just want to say
who cares?
that I still I'm joking mostly, but it certainly wouldn't hurt us to have a little color in our family. That's all I'm going to say.
It wouldn't. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, I think I told you the other week. My family brought in a bloody Spanish Jew into the family, and then they wrote them out of the fucking history.
Isn't that awful? What the hell? I had always been told through my mother that the family history on my mom's side was that her mother, they were related directly to like a Cherokee Indian, or somebody that was like my great-great-grandmother was like full-blooded Indian. Well, I'd heard that over and over again throughout my entire life. Well, you know what? That wasn't the case, because I had my mother's genealogy done, or her DNA done, and there's not a damn, just like not even a sliver of Native American in our family. So, I mean, I understand how people start like rumors and stuff, and it gets spread down through history. I don't even know why they would think that. It's like
what's interesting how things
were all dirt farmers from Rowan County, Tennessee.
Sometimes it's a bit. I saw that show. Do you have it in America called Who Do You Think You Are? Where they take a celebrity.
I love that show.
Okay,
yeah,
I saw one, and I can't remember who the celebrity is. A British one, the original British show, and I don't remember who the celebrity was, but they had French, like a bit like myself. I think we said the other week or the week before or whatever, that my family actually is not British at all. It's actually French, French and Swiss. Britain was just a stopover, before they got to Australia, and but the long history is French and Swiss, and anyway, but this actress had, it's not, actually don't say that anymore, this actor, because there's no such thing as actors and actresses anymore, are there? There's just actors.
Yeah, you know what? I know they say that, but also I know a lot of women who still say actors.
Yeah, so please don't, and anyway, and she said, oh yes, my grandfather, I think she said my great-grandfather had won the Legion of Honor in the First World War with the French Army. And there's a bit, well, your grandfather was a captain. Okay, so, or, he was an officer, but he wasn't exactly high up thing. People like that don't get Legion of Honors. That's not what the Legion of Honors is about. The Legion of Honors is more a political medal. It's not actually it's not like for American audiences, what do you call it? What's that big medal you have over there?
The Medal of Freedom?
Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor, all right, which is given to everybody if you're very, very brave in a war, right? So the Legion of Honor is not like that. The Legion of Honor is more, in American terms, probably more like the Medal of Freedom.
Oh, I think
right?
maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
I don't know.
It's more a political medal. It's not really so, but it's
Well,
still the highest.
that's what some people
Right.
like Barack Obama gave that to Joe
Yes,
Biden
yeah.
in his
Now,
son, for his
okay.
son,
Now,
and thing. Yeah.
but the Legion of Honor is still the highest award you can win in France. Okay, even though it's
Right.
political. Okay, now I don't know how if the Medal of Freedom outranks the Medal of Honor in America. I have no fucking idea. Right?
I don't know how you would even
Okay. I don't think you guys actually rate them that way.
I think Rush Limbaugh got the Medal of Honor or something here, or Freedom or something. I don't know.
would
Trump
think that would be
did,
Medal
so
of Freedom.
therefore,
I don't
it
think
never matters again.
Okay, is that big fatso who sits behind his desk saying, "Oh, you're trapped in your house. There are black people trying to break in, and you're white, and you're defending yourself from behind your locked door"? Is that Limbaugh?
Well, that could be one of 50 people. I don't know.
No,
He's
the
a big fat bastard with an
Yeah,
Oxycontin.
I know. I think the Simpsons made fun of him
if
once.
you got an addiction problem, I feel sorry for you, but also maybe don't go on radio and try to be a stochastic terrorist. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, but that was when, and she said, my great great-grandfather won the Medal of Honor. We said, we don't have it. We don't have the medal, but we're very proud of it. And it's gone through our family history about how great-great-grandfather Louis Jambon or whatever, was killed winning the Legion of Honor, which is the Medal of Honor, the Legion of, And anyway, and they looked at the family and they came and said, I'm sorry. Yes, he was a captain. He was in a reserve, like a National Guard, okay, in American terms, unit in 1914. And, he was overage, he was overweight, like the reserve. He was thrown in to the thick of it when they weren't really ready. They weren't equipped properly. They weren't fit. They were, you know what I mean? All of those guys who, unfortunately, this shit happened to. And he said he was one of them. She goes, that's not... We were told he was a war hero. And then the historian said, yeah, just wait a minute. Okay, you think from what I've just said, he doesn't sound like a war hero. He's just like your granddad. You know what I mean? He just sounds like an old guy, right, who's thrown in. But no. Okay, yes, were they under-equipped, under-fit? Yes. But these guys fought to the last man. And he was not awarded the Legion of Honor. He was awarded the Cross de Guerre. Now, the Cross de Guerre, if you're not French or Belgian, that is the second highest medal that France has to offer. He was a fucking war hero. This man held his position until death. You can't ask anything more of a human being, right? He was a fucking hero. And then the actual historian said, you know what this means? He wasn't just a hero, he was a working class hero. And she goes, I now love him twice as much. like he was just a story to her. And when she found the truth of who he was, she fell in love with him. Right? And I always think about that. It's like, they often say be careful what you wish for, but it's like sometimes we find out our family histories, and sometimes they don't live up to expectations. I've been quite shocked. Right, but in her case, the story was more beautiful or wonderful than she could ever have thought of. Right. And Ainsley Harriott, the very famous British celebrity chef, traced back his family to find out, because he's a black British guy, to find out his family's actually white. Like, there's more white people in his fucking heritage than there are black people.
Well, right? You never know. That's what's so weird. So it's a little bit like, well, are you going to which direction are you going to follow, Ainsley? Are you going to follow the white or the black? But you can go in either direction. Why do you have to choose one? And that was his whole thing. I can choose both. Why can't you just be? Why do you have to define yourself along other people's parameters? That's always been like my question. Well, this was the thing, like the golfer, the Tiger Woods, okay? Yeah.
Now, I remember when he was at his peak, before he got into his problems with his sex addiction and all the crap like that. Sex addiction. I don't even know if it's a real disease.
Addiction. Well, you know,
I'm sorry.
He could get it. I'm just saying.
No, I'm sorry. He could get away with fucking women.
Yeah,
I know. But yeah, I know. But anyway, I tend to agree. But anyway, but the whole idea. But there's still this whole idea where he was being forced to identify as black, and his other thing was, well, I'm not being forced to identify as Asian. Why can't I just be who I am? Tiger Woods. I'm an American, Asian, black American. Why is that a problem? Like, why do I have to be one of a particular group? Can't I just be Tiger Woods American?
Well, I think it's because here in our culture, there's been a lot of disparaging. If you had even a drop of black blood, you were considered black and therefore looked at as less than. And so I feel like a lot of people still want somebody to, like, especially if somebody is doing well in something, that they're excelling in something. People of color, you know, a lot of times they're not recognized for the greatness that they have. And so, yeah, I can understand why when somebody reaches a pinnacle level and you can identify with that person in some way, you might want to claim them as your own. Sometimes I feel like white people tried to use him as a way to say they weren't racist because they liked golf and they also liked him, and he was married to white woman. And
you're talking about my mother.
Like, I feel like sometimes it helps white people feel like they're not racist when they, when they can like somebody who has color in their skin and like, I don't know. I don't want to necessarily feel that way about people, but I'm a little like. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very cynical. I'm very cynical.
Really?
About people and their motives. Have you noticed?
Oh my God!
So well.
Really?
Funny. Yeah. I have to tell you this. It's actually, I worked a job for a little while, like 2 years.
Remember, you're on the air. You're on the air. Just remember.
I know. No, this is fine. This is fine. I took a job for like 2 years. I got an offer for a job where I was doing content management for like 13 different really great universities through a company that I was working with. And they managed these different online programs for these different very high-end companies, universities. And I forgot what I was going to say.
Don't worry. I do this all the time.
What were you talking about right before this? It was
Tiger Woods, nationality, race, identifying with a race versus in a nationality. About people wanting to link to people who were famous because of their race. Because they're
then we were joking because I took this job. I can't remember now. I'm trying to remember.
All you said was you took this job. That's as far as we got.
Okay. You know what? I promised myself I wouldn't do this.
We'll come back to it. Don't worry.
He won't. Don't lie to me. I don't like that. I tend to believe.
No, we will. We'll come back to it if we remember.
If I remember.
But the whole thing is that I still remember my mother saying something. I'm not going to say it on air. Sorry, no, I'm not going to say it.
Oh yeah, don't say things about your mother that you don't want people to know.
But the whole thing is, all I will say is that I have brought home a Singaporean girlfriend, an Indian girlfriend, and a Vietnamese girlfriend throughout my life. Okay. To which my mother fell in love with. Okay, my mother.
I remember what I was going to say.
Okay. To which my mother fell in love with all three. Okay, fell in love with all three. She would have been more than happy to have had half Indian children, half Vietnamese children, half fucking Singaporean children. Wouldn't have worried her in the slightest. She would have been proud and she would have stood by them and everything would have been good. But she still sits there and sort of says, I don't know about these foreigners. It's but this is different. But this is the thing, you know, like she talks the racist talk, but doesn't.
That's a group and not an individual. She likes individuals.
Well,
it's
this
just a group
is the thing. It's a little bit like we talk about. It's like, you talk the equality thing, but you act like a racist. My mother acts like an equality, but talks like a racist. Like, where does that come from? Like this is my whole thing.
I know someone like that too. But okay, wait. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do want to say this so that I remembered what I was going to say. I was going to talk about the fact that I was very cynical. Okay.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, while I was working for this company, which I don't like corporate environments at all, and it literally gave me an eye twitch and like physical illness problems because I literally couldn't handle the stress and the environment. But we all went to lunch one day. I worked in a marketing department, so we went to lunch and we were all sitting around. It was probably about 10 of us around a table at a restaurant, and the guy that was running the marketing department looked at all of us and said, "Okay, so let's go around and say what kind of like celebrity does each of you remind us of?" So, he looked exactly to me like John Goodman, the guy who was on Roseanne. He's done a lot of acting. He's a big guy. Like, literally, this guy looked exactly like John Goodman. So everybody basically said about him, John Goodman. They were going around the table, and everybody was, looked like this person and looked like that person. And they got to me, and the director of marketing, which was this guy that looked like John Goodman, looked at me and he said, "I look at you and I think of Whoopi Goldberg." And Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
I know. Famous actress, yeah.
Yeah, like seriously, but we don't look at all alike, okay? And so the whole table had been going around. It was literally about who people looked like. And the table just went silent, and I was thinking, oh my God, what? He said, he goes, because he said, she's exceptionally intelligent, but she's also incredibly cynical. And I was just like, oh my God, that's who you see me as, is Whoopi Goldberg. I have never in my entire life been compared to her, but I couldn't have been more proud. I was just so happy.
I would be proud with that because I like her. I think she's great.
Mind
you, I like you more, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm incredibly charming. We discussed this earlier, so why wouldn't you?
But anyway, we're going to have to take a quick break because there's just been a huge bloody bang which you have not heard out the front of my house, and can we just go on to pause for a quick second, and we will be right back if that's okay.
Okay, yeah.
We are back within 3 seconds. Wow. Timey-wimey. Anyway, all right.
All of that timey-wimey stuff.
Now, I was going to ask you something. Because we had spoken a little bit off air. I think it was off air. About how Australia had decided to do a blitz on testing in the some of the spike areas, which they know because Australia runs, like a mobile phone app. Everyone runs the COVID app on their phone.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
So
was this on the air or was this on off air? I can't remember.
Yeah, no, it totally was, Warren.
I was on air. Okay, fuck me. All right, we're not even going to talk about it. All right, we're going to move on to that subject. Sorry.
I thought we were going to talk about the Hallmark channel.
We're going to talk about Hallmark. Sorry. I thought I better cover this off before we go to Hallmark.
It's that whole timey-wimey thing.
Oh, fuck. Don't worry. Just here we go. I'll do a sound. I can do a sound effect. You won't hear it, but anyway.
No, it's fine. Because this is your week to be silly. Because last week I was pretty damn ridiculous. And probably the week before that.
Well, no one could hear me last week. My sound was so bad. I mean,
I didn't listen to it. I don't listen to anything we record.
No, I know.
I'm just not going to do it.
All people could hear last week was,
oh, yeah? Okay. Well, that's fun to know.
I've heard back, apparently it's appalling. It's so bad. Don't even...
Oh, well, hey. So. Maybe we should just, delete it and we'll just fix it.
Well, no, it's fine. You listen to you. You sound great. It's just me,
Well,
Well, mind you, you got a great voice. I've got a shit voice, so,
Oh, my God.
So
keep it coming.
But
Go
anyway.
ahead.
But what we were going to talk about then, because... Jesus, okay, this is why you don't drink fucking Wynn's Coonawarra, all right? Because I didn't even remember we had that conversation. I thought we did it off air.
You did better on the scotch last week, I think.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Don't worry. All right, okay, all right. So Hallmark.
All right,
Hallmark,
I'm sorry.
Hallmark.
I'm
Now,
teasing you too much. It's too much.
I spent the week falling in love with the Culinary Detective, which is a group of 5 Hallmark films about a police detective and a chef who solve crimes together and end up falling in love, as they do. It's Hallmark.
Wait.
Right? Okay.
Okay.
And I just wanted to sort of say, where is the Hallmark Channel right now? Because, do you know what? I was watching these films, and I'll be honest with you, I fucking love... I suddenly realised I love Hallmark. I love...
Oh, no.
No, because I suddenly... Because what I realised Hallmark is for me now is Disney when I was a kid. It's when the world was perfect and wonderful and lovely, and there were fairies and everything was so good and nothing was bad, and then you became a teenager and you realised it was all shit. Suddenly...
Fairies are awful. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, well, according to Doctor Who legend, they are. Anyway, ask Captain Jack about fairies. Well, it's more Torchwood, isn't it? That's actually Torchwood, isn't it?
Fae or fairies? There's all
a fairy. Fairies. Fairies are an actual species of creature that live on Earth.
I know they're the Fae. I know.
Oh, the Fae. Yes, yeah. So
yeah. I have stuff going on about the Fae, but we don't have to talk about that right now.
Mm. Well, it was not Lewis Carroll. Who was it that wrote Sherlock Holmes?
Oh my God! Why'd you ask me that?
I don't know.
I have his books on my shelf. Holy crap.
That aren't suffering.
Sir Conan Doyle.
Sir Conan Doyle.
Yeah, right.
Sir Conan Doyle. The coin, as is, hey, Sir Coin a lot. Hey.
Sequoia. No, I told you I had too much wine.
So no, I'm having fun.
Wait, is that really who wrote it? Because I was just guessing. Because right now I don't know.
Yeah. No, it is Sir Conan Doyle. Don't worry, yeah.
It is. Is it him? Yeah, he did it. Yeah,
it really is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But now he believed that fairies were real. He believed that he saw fairies at the bottom of his garden. He really did believe them.
Because he went and saw those girls who had supposedly taken photos of them, but they were really cut out.
And he believed that was all real. He actually believed.
He did. Yeah.
You know, that was totally real. It's interesting, actually, isn't it? I know we're talking about Hallmark, but we've obviously moved on. So the whole. Yeah. Don't worry. I've been there before. Yeah. You like rom-coms? What? You fucking love rom-coms? No,
I do, but I do. No. I will admit that listen, I will watch like all kinds of ridiculous rom-coms.
No, I didn't mean you personally.
No. I know you were saying in general. I'm saying personally for me though, yeah, I will totally watch them. But I was not that long ago asked by somebody who is in a generation before me, who might be the parent of someone I was, married to and stuff. If I was watching the Christmas movies on Hallmark.
Yeah.
Now, that was around September of last year, and I looked at them and said, "Dear God, no. Why would I do that?" And yeah, I don't watch those things.
I watch them all the time. Okay, this is the thing. I can't get enough of them. I love them, right? And this is the thing. And this goes back to the fairies, all right? The idea of not the fairies, but the idea of Disneyland when you're a child, okay?
I've never been to Disneyland.
No,
it can fit in the parking lot of the Magic Kingdom in Florida. No, so,
but I grew up I grew up in a world of Disney. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Spoiled.
Now
Sorry.
the thing is that for me, Hallmark as an adult reinforces what I remembered as a child. The world is perfect. Everyone's happy. Everyone's rich. Everyone's okay. Everyone has a nice house. Like everyone has a nice car. They all have a job. And
so bullshit is what you're saying.
Well, yes, it's bullshit, but that's fantasy. Is there anything wrong with fantasy?
That is not my idea of fantasy, but yeah, I mean, sure. No. I guess. Like, okay, no, I get what you're saying in the sense of everything is the way you imagine it would
Yes.
be in
Yeah.
like when you were a kid thinking about what romance is.
Yes.
That's why for years my favorite Disney movie was Sleeping Beauty. And now I think, dear God, what the fuck was wrong with me? I think when I watch it, I'm like, that was a really ridiculous fantasy.
You
and
you never know. Maybe one day, the Disney character will turn up and sort of say, "Here are handcuffs. Let's talk."
Well, I like Maleficent as much as the next person.
No.
So.
Yeah, Disney was not a great introduction to married life, I'll tell you that.
He was also an anti-Semite, but we don't have to discuss that because I really enjoy going to the park.
Well, look, I agree with that. My attitude is, they know he's a fucking Nazi. They've dealt with it. Have they? Or have they
I hope he wasn't a Nazi. He may have been a horrible
person. No, he's a fucking Nazi. He was a full-on fucking support of the Germans until they fucking... until America went to war.
So was Coca-Cola.
Were they? Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
and Volkswagen Bug, that was the German, that was the Nazi
that doesn't count. That was fucking German company. That's Volkswagen.
They're still making cars and selling them in our
country.
Hang on.
Yeah, but Volkswagen was fucking built by Adolf Hitler.
I know.
He invented the company. So I mean,
I
know. But the whole thing that blows my mind, and it's a little bit. I come from a country that went to war with Nazis in 1939, not fucking December 7th, 1941, right?
We waited until they fucked our shit up.
Okay, so, I mean, we'd been at fucking war with them for 2 years before you guys came along.
I know.
No, I'm not. No, because I have no problem, no, I have no problem with neutralism, so I don't actually have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is coming in halfway through and then saying, we fucking won the war.
Yeah, and then I also have a problem with is saying that you're fighting the Nazis, but also turning a ship away filled with Jewish people trying to save themselves, turning them away and sending them back to all be killed in concentration camps. So you know what? Fuck us.
That was pretty bad.
In fucking concentration camps in our own country.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And we sent Jewish people straight back to the goddamn oven.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah, okay, that's actually pretty bad. Nothing against
it's
those.
Also fair.
Well, it is fair. Nothing against those guys who landed at Normandy and all the rest of it.
No,
but,
they didn't have anything to do with that.
They
were the guys that risked everything for us.
Oh no, that's true.
But it was our government that fucked those other people up.
Do you know it was the 50th anniversary of D-Day? Do you know when they put all the flags up? Do you know they forgot to fly the Polish flag? It's like, fuck me, guys. Seriously, there were free Poles landing on the beach and they forgot to raise the Polish flag. Really fucking bad.
It is. That is really shitty.
Especially too when you think about the price Poland paid in World War II, in the first of all its own fucking war with its legit government. Then it had the Freedom Army within. There was actually the Freedom Army and the Jewish Army. They had two armies, right? Who fucking fought within the country itself in two major fucking battles in Warsaw.
Right.
Then you had the Polish Eastern Army, which gave something like 100,000 fucking men to the Soviet army. Then you had the Western Army, which I think was 5 divisions, which fought through the West, plus the Middle Eastern and Italian army, which was another division of 10,000 men who fought all the way through. I mean, and the Poles, the fucking Poles. The fucking Poles.
Well,
I mean, it's like
I learned when I was young that people made fun of the Polish people through jokes and everything. And my grandfather, who was an Episcopal priest, also was he was a prolific teller of horrible jokes, and not horrible like mean or racist or anything like that. He actually just told really bad jokes, and he didn't want to be racist. So he actually made up a race of people, like a country, to make fun of, because he said he was really tired of hearing them make fun of Polish people. So he literally invented a country called Smugaria, and he made fun of the Smugarians, and they were literally no people. But he used anything that would disparage any other nationality. He took and took the joke and turned it into a Smegarian joke. And I had to appreciate that. His jokes were horrible, but at least he wasn't a goddamn racist, you know?
Yes. Well, this is the thing, and you know what? And this is the other thing too. If I hear one more person use the old joke, and I think it was started by in the Seinfeld series, but I don't quite know if that's true. Cheese eating surrender monkey, when referring to a French person.
Never heard of that.
Okay. Okay. All I can say to any American who has a problem with happened with France between 1939 and 1945, can I just remind you of the War of 1812, where the British burnt fucking Washington?
Yeah.
Now, before you condemn the French for what happened in 1940, just remember the British burnt your fucking capital. All right?
Warren, I'm going to just say something to you right now. I don't mean to interrupt you, because I know what you're saying is absolutely true and important, but I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of people in our country have no idea what you're fucking talking about.
So they don't know about the War of 1812? They must. It's a huge... Isn't that a huge piece of American history? Britain invades America? Isn't that fucking huge?
No, we know that it happened because we've heard it mentioned, okay? But I'm just going to say to you that the majority of people in our country don't know shit
that's
about
Andrew
what happened in the War of 1812.
The president keeps talking about Andrew Jackson. That's where he
became...
became...
know shit about Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson became famous in Louisiana for defeating the fucking British. That's what Andrew Jackson did.
What Andrew Jackson did that I know about, yes, he did do that. But what I know about is how he sent thousands and tens of thousands of Native Americans on the Trail of Tears.
Okay, that's
and ended up murdering them, basically, without his own hand. Okay,
sorry, that's
here's the thing.
I feel guilty. Sorry, I feel guilty now. I feel horrible.
No. I'm just saying, in school, because I went from all my elementary school years were in Minneapolis, a northern school there, which has had some really bad press lately. But at the time, they were a good school, a lot of art, all kinds of stuff in the city. And then we moved to Florida, and, the schools there were a little bit less. We were down in South Florida in an affluent area. So we actually ended up, I ended up going to decent schools. But then I came to Tennessee in my 10th grade year of high school. And let me tell you something. The schools there do not teach a whole lot about history in the country. And Nashville, just outside of Nashville, is where Andrew Jackson's plantation was, the Hermitage. Now, we visited there when I was in school for a field trip. And I'm going to be honest with you, at the time, because I wasn't raised in a family that had any kind of racism, I didn't know anything. Honestly, I just didn't know anything about the history of the South and the Confederacy. That's not something that was ever talked about in my home. And in my northern schools, and then I went to a private school in Florida for a while, they didn't talk about that. And when I went to Tennessee, I went to the Hermitage and we toured it. Okay, so as a 14-year-old girl visiting the very first plantation I had ever seen, all I knew about it was this guy was a president, and he was, they lived in the South, and God, what a beautiful house this is. And then they take you out back and they show you what they claim to have been. And I don't know if it's still the same, because I wanted to take Noah there when we visited this last year, because I wanted him to see the house and the grounds, but I was prepared to talk to him about the history that I have learned since then. But I remember now going through and looking back where they took us through a tour of what they called the slave quarters, okay? It was literally one cabin that they had, I guess, rebuilt, and it had doors on both sides so you could kind of walk through and see. One side of the cabin was like the bedroom, and the other side was like the kitchen. And it was pristine, and it was clean, and it was simple, but it didn't look like anything that you would have looked at and said, oh, gross, this is dirty and awful. As a kid, you looked at it and you were like, oh, this isn't bad. This is nice, because you didn't understand anything about the history.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I actually got a little bit older and actually had some real like experience listening to people who were telling me the things that I had been taught my entire life about our history was real, just whitewashed bullshit. I didn't understand anything about the reality of who Andrew Jackson was. I went through his house and went, oh my God, what a beautiful house. I wish I could have lived here. And now I know what plantations were. And I think, holy shit, who would ever have a fucking wedding at one of these places? But people do it, you know? And
that blows, that blows, to me, that's like, there are things for Australians, right, which are historically so significant and beautiful, but you wouldn't hold a wedding there. It's like Hellfire Pass, okay? Hellfire Pass is in Thailand, okay?
Yeah.
It's a railway cutting. Cuts through an entire mountain. Literally fucking, it is kilometres long through a mountain, all right?
Okay.
And because back in the days in the 1940s when railways had to be flat, you know, and it goes through. And now you would go there and you'd say, wow, what an amazing piece of engineering. This is so fucking amazing. Oh, Thailand, you should be so proud of this. Now let's tell you the real story. It was built by the Japanese and it was built by slave labour. British, Australian, Chinese, and Indians. One person died per sleeper. Of the railway track to build it. Yeah. Okay, it might be astonishing and amazing to look at. It's not something to celebrate. It's something to look at and to commemorate. And to me, those houses, those great houses, all right, I don't believe they should be bulldozed, blown up, like I've heard some people say. I believe they should be looked at and turned into, all of them, turned into museums to what the fuck we should never do again. Right.
What the hell?
Do you know what I mean?
What is going on? Well, I get that because, you know, honestly, when I grew up, and it's weird. Like the first commercial I ever did, I was 6 years old. It was like a back to school commercial for clothes. And it aired during the movie of The King and I.
Right.
Okay, so
one of the most racist movies ever fucking made.
Thank you. Okay, so I grew
beautiful
up in
movie, but so racist. Yeah.
Thank you. And I grew up in a time when that kind of movie was just on everyday TV in the evenings, you know. And I had a Scarlett O'Hara doll when I was little. Somebody had given me because it was like a fancy doll with a big dress on. Okay, it was Scarlett O'Hara, and when I was little, even though my parents never once ever, like, I remember like the first moment I realized there was racism in the world. I was about 6 years old and I lived in Minneapolis. My mother had taken me to the mall and I love hats. I have always loved hats. I will try on every fucking hat that I find. I want to look in the mirror. I want to see what I look like. I feel like I look pretty good in them. And ever since I was a little kid, like I love them. So I was in the mall with my mother in one of the department stores and they had the little trees in the ladies' accessories area that was just filled with different kinds of hats, you know, big wide brims with the little veils over them and the feathers and all these things. So I'm 6 years old and I'm in the store and my mother is standing a little ways from me and I went over to the hats and I'm trying them on. And a white woman who worked at the store, which I now recognize as what would have been now referred to as a Karen. She worked at the store.
Sorry. Can you just, I don't mean to interrupt, but for anyone who's not American, can you explain what that means?
A Karen is a quintessential middle-aged white woman who wants to talk to the manager all the time. Who wants to complain, who is constantly telling people of color that they need to do things for them. They make a big scene. So this woman, cool. That's what I would have called her. Yeah. But she came over to me and she worked at this department store and whispered in my ear as she took a hat off my head and put it back on the rack and said, "Honey, don't put those hats on. Black people try those hats on."
What?
And I'm 6 years old.
Fuck.
And I looked at her and I was like, I had no idea what the hell she was saying. And I went to my mom and I said, she wouldn't let me. Yeah, like seriously, she goes, she wouldn't let me try. I said, she wouldn't let me try on these hats. She took it from me and said, because black people try them on. And my mother was so pissed. She went to that woman and just read her a fucking riot act. And she told me later, she said that to you because she wants you to believe that black people are dirty. And she didn't want you to get dirty in your hair while you were trying on hats. And that's what she was insinuating. Okay, so at 6 years old, I recognized, because my mother at least had enough sense to explain it to me, how
it doesn't make it any better, though.
Freaking racist.
But it makes it doesn't make the story any better. I mean, it makes your
not
mum.
at all. But
I mean,
I was just like, at that age, to recognize now, looking back, that was my first experience with racism. That was shocking, like, to look back on that. And I realized that as you grow up in our country, if you are a white person going to schools that are predominantly white, and even if you're not going to schools that are predominantly white, you can be pretty sure that your entire history that you're learning in your classes, if you have white teachers, is going to be whitewashed history.
Yeah, okay, well, this is something I have to ask, because different country, different question.
Yeah.
In Australia, the teachers don't decide what's taught. The government decides what's taught. Well, that's not quite true. The public service decides what's going to be taught. So, if you're a racist, you can't teach racist history. You kind of have to grin and bear it and tell the truth. Okay? Well, at least, I rephrase that. The truth as the government sees it at the time. Because what I know for a fact right now, what kids are being taught today is very different to what I was being taught. When I was being taught, white immigration into Australia was a good thing. Now, kids are being taught, well, it created a nation, but there was a lot of hate, a lot of death, a lot of disease, and the people who were here originally didn't like it. In fact, right. So they're being taught that now, and so that's a good thing, right? So, I suppose the thing is that even though I was taught, to be honest with you, let's just do a whitewashed concept of history. Yeah. Because it's not the individual who decides, it's the government who decides. Now we have a modern liberal government, even though they're conservative, but Americans would term our government communist, even though they're fucking conservative. But that's a whole other that's a whole other argument.
Because a lot of Americans don't know what communist means.
It's like you get a conservative government in Sweden, and you're still calling them communist. You know what I mean? It's still okay. So remember that, but they're being taught that the Aboriginals were not happy. Not fucking happy at all about white settlement. They fought it in some cases. They absorbed it in others. And the death toll of Indigenous people was horrific. Either by disease, or then by fucking imprisonment, or then by just fucking, you just name it, right? I mean, fucking enslaved police service. How the fuck do you enslave someone to be a police officer? This still blows my mind that this actually happened. How do you enslave...
I don't know what that is, so you'd have to explain that to me, because I don't know.
Look, I won't bore you with all of this stuff, because honestly, if you're not Australian, it's all so fucking meaningless. All I'm really
I don't think anything that involves people being systematically oppressed is meaningless in any way.
How do you conscript someone to be a police officer? Conscript a police officer?
I don't know the background behind that. So maybe if you don't want to get into it now, write it down, because I would like to know about that later.
I'll put it this way. The problem is Aboriginal Australia, as in white versus Aboriginal, sort of hit each other as culture moves through the country. Is that hurt actually? Sorry, I just hit my head.
It's very exciting.
Okay. It's a story that needs more than fucking 5 minutes. It's like trying to explain Indigenous American culture versus the US government, right? The thing is that not only did and also the Aboriginals had to deal with multiple governments with colonies, then, which are all run through Britain, then run through an Australian government. Some areas actually fucking welcomed white, intrusion, if you like.
Right.
The vast majority fought it. The problem is when you've got nations or cultures which only have fucking 700 people in them, they can only put up so much of a fucking fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow, yeah.
Okay,
the colonialism destroys cultures.
So it means we're going to put up 100 soldiers. Oh, okay, a British regiment of fucking 700 with fucking Martini Henry rifles. Oh, yeah, we'll put up a fight. I mean, really?
You feel like you have to fight, but how do you fight?
Okay, there are stories, there are horrific stories of fucking Aboriginals being pushed, like the men, the ones who could carry woomeras. What a woomera is an Australian term. It means spear carrier. All right. It means if you carry a woomera, you can throw a spear. So woomera has kind of meant rocket man. It's warrior, right? It doesn't
in a sense like the Roman spear carriers. I can't remember what they were called. They were the
legionnaires.
Were they the legionnaires?
Actually,
I thought there was something specific.
Well, actually, no. If you want to understand, I can actually explain how the Roman army was actually.
Oh, that's very exciting, Warren.
As Ari sort of says, I'm going to have another drink. Warren's going to talk about the Roman.
No. You joke about those things, but honestly, I'm just going to. Yeah,
I can tell you exactly.
People who know things, so yeah.
I can tell you. I can tell you right now the exact deployment, or the Orbat, as it's called, of the Roman army. Right now. I can tell you right now. Do it on air if you want me to. But I'm not going to do it because I know. No, the spear. There was no such thing as spearmen in the Roman Empire. Well, everyone in the Roman army, what we would call the infantry of the Roman army, carried a spear. Okay, now. They carried more than one spear. They carried multiple.
It was the shield and the spear, right? It was like
no.
Name for it, wasn't there?
There was, and it wasn't the phalanx, because that's the Greek one.
Not
it's
phalanx.
called the.
That's definitely Greek.
And I'll be honest with you, I've forgotten the name, and that's
I have too, and that's what's driving me crazy right now because I just wanted to be very impressive with my knowledge, but I'm drunk.
Palentum. It's something along those lines. Starts with a P, anyway. And they would throw them, and they were disposable weapons. They would throw them into the shields of the enemies. And the idea of the spear in the Roman Empire was not a killable weapon. Okay, the spear was designed to remove the pilum. Okay,
the pilum. I looked it up, and I'm not.
Thank you.
I don't just know that. Did
I tell you it started with P? Was I?
You did. You were exceptionally close. I'm very impressed.
Okay, now it was not designed. It was not designed to kill. It was not a kill weapon. Its job was to do one thing, and that was they would throw them into what we call the phalanx, the enemy in front of them.
Yes.
And they were to dig into the shields. They would dig into the shields and bend. They had a very soft, in fact, they were made of lead. They were a very soft.
They were heavy.
Fucking thing, and heavy. And so when it hit the shield, it hit the shield and it pulled the shield down, which meant the enemy soldier lost their shield. Now,
which
it was
never brilliant strategy, to be perfectly honest.
Yes, it was never designed as a kill weapon. Never. When you see movies, B-grade movies, even A-grade movies, of Romans throwing spears, as bullshit. The Romans never throwed spears to kill. That weapon was its equivalent of a sectional machine gun to keep the heads down while the infantry went in. It was like a Maxim machine gun. It was. Why the fuck am I talking
looking,
about this?
I'm looking at something online that tells me this. The Deepika, which was the Roman spear, but had a metal ball and an end cap on it, which is made of lead, so that it was extra heavy when it hit.
Yeah.
That was that whole thing.
Once it hit the shield, you couldn't use the shield anymore. The shield was gone, and now, so now you had Romans working onto mass drill, and the thing about the Roman army, this is what made it so good, okay, was its drill. As the I think, I'm going to put this on Julius Caesar, but I don't think it was, and that is the Roman army. Drills to fight and fights to drill. Along those lines, and in other words, it was a very fucking 2020 ideology of war. Was the Romans, right? Which was that their militaries were full time all the time. Right. No other nation on earth, and I mean on earth, even the Chinese, did not have full time militaries. The Romans were the first ones to ever do this, and it is the reason why their empire lasted for so long. The problem was you can only hold this for so long. The British found this.
Yeah, that's definitely, they spread themselves too thin. The same thing as that happened to the Mongolians, honestly.
Yeah, okay, and the problem was, you're right, the Mongolians, okay, Genghis Khan dies, okay, right? So now we have all the sons.
After siring 17,000 children.
I know. And it's like,
I was most impressed by that.
He was a bit rapey. I'll just put it that way. He was a bit rapey, right?
Hey, do we know that it wasn't all totally, good? We don't know that they were. We don't know that they weren't totally involved.
Okay.
I'm just joking.
Very hard.
Literally, 12% of our population is related to him. So, in general of the world.
Was I reckon half of China is related to fucking Genghis Khan. That's
a bunch of Americans too.
What's what they reckon? 90. I think it's 95% of Europeans are related to fucking Charlemagne. and do you know the argument? The argument of what is it? The fucking those stupid Jesus novels. There were 3 of them.
What, the Left Behind series? Is that the shit you're talking
about? No, it's about the Covenant or the fucking
dude, I don't read that stuff.
No, they were really.
I only read fantasy novels.
No, 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Fantasy novels.
20 years ago. Ron Howard made 3 films about them.
Wait, are they the ones with the Knights Templar and Tom Hanks
those.
In them and
what
the
are those
whole?
Called? Yes, what are those? Tom Hanks.
Jesus Christ! Now I can't remember.
Okay, Tom Hanks is in all of them. All right. Okay.
Yeah, with bad hair. I know it was bad.
It's all based on a book, which is all fucking fantasy.
Yeah, holy shit! I can't remember that. I can't believe I don't remember the name of that.
All I can tell you is the book is fantasy. It's totally made up. Okay.
Yeah.
All of everything that's based on is fucking has been proven to be either corrupt or fantasy or fucking it's all bullshit. The whole thing is based on bullshit. Okay. However, that doesn't make a good story. Don't get me wrong. But this is what I want to ask anyone. Forget the movies. Have you ever read the
Da Vinci
books?
Code? Holy shit! It's the Da Vinci Code.
Have you ever read the book? Okay, the worst fucking writing and grammar of any book that has ever been fucking written in the world. I agree. I agree that my spelling and grammar and everything is bad. Okay, that book is one of the worst written books I've ever seen in my life.
You've never read 50 Shades of Grey, I am assuming, which I have not either, but I have read excerpts.
I'm assuming that, honestly, I was not really claiming that erotic novels were going to be in the high echelons of English literature, to be honest. In the same ways that I don't really classify Stormy Daniels, I don't know, Stormy 28. No, just hear me out.
She's brilliant.
Yeah, I had no idea. But I actually saw the movie. What's it called? It was actually starred by and produced and directed by Stormy Daniels. Oh, fuck me.
I hope it was a comedy because she had a really good
no. It was a comedy. It was a comedy. It was the golf. What was the golf? Oh, was it Operation Desert Storm? Operation Desert Storm.
Wait,
Operation
what?
Desert Stormy.
That's right. Are you telling?
So
Operation Desert Stormy. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Is this a blue movie that I might be interested in watching later?
Okay, yes. Now, she made a movie called Operation Desert Stormy. Now, I've seen it. Okay, don't ask me why. Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about? Don't
What do you
ask me
mean,
why. I
don't?
don't fucking know why you've seen it. What's wrong
Yeah, but
with you?
what I was going to say is you said, yeah, I know, before I even said, don't ask me why. Like, you just assume that I've automatically seen it. But anyway, I have seen it, and
it's not my first day talking to you.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, I've seen it with the director's commentary. I've actually watched it with the director's commentary.
Holy shit!
And I've actually seen it with Stormy Daniels talking all the way through the movie. All right, through an hour and a half with Stormy Daniels' audio commentary. And I'll tell you,
I need this in my life.
All I can really say is, if you ever want to watch a porn movie, watch this with the audio commentary. She's fascinating. She's absolutely fascinating. I mean, one, you've got all of the business concept, where she's talking about how she had to go to the local hardware store to buy this, and then this person didn't turn up. So there's all of that bullshit, from small independent filmmaking. Okay. But
I almost choked. I'm laughing so hard. Wait,
but it is fascinating. Like she's talking about how after this film came out, she got into the shit because people said she was unfucking patriotic.
Wait,
because
what?
because but she'd make a movie called, like trying to kill, Saddam, or what is it, Sadiqam, or whatever the fuck his name was, right?
Holy shit.
Okay,
I
right.
have to see this now.
All right.
Wait, we have to go. I have to get off. If you have to go find this movie immediately.
And look, I don't know. I just
you can't even continue.
All I can say is I know a friend of Stormy Daniels. Okay, I don't know Stormy Daniels personally.
I remember you mentioning this friend.
But I do know a friend of Stormy Daniels. One thing I can tell you about Stormy Daniels is that you may not agree with her politics. You may not agree with her lifestyle. Okay, that's fine. Okay, all right, that's fine. Girl. But the one thing is that what she has told you about everything that's gone on in her life, it's all true. Okay, that's not made up.
I feel like that's absolutely
right.
It.
It's
I feel
not
like
made
she
up.
is just as straight up as she can be.
Yeah, and the thing is that even did she try to even do a slight second run at rebuilding herself after it all came out with Make America Horny Again and all that bullshit?
Hey,
okay,
I say take your moments, okay, and run with them.
And the whole point is that yes, she did. Because she's a businesswoman and she saw an opportunity to make money. She actually gives to. She doesn't. Okay. What are her personal opinions? Okay.
Big deep
what are her personal opinions about left wing versus right wing? I'll tell you right now.
I don't know what they are, and I don't care.
Okay. I'll tell you right now. They're probably slightly more left wing. However, she's actually a centralist. She doesn't give a shit. She just wants to live in a world where she can run a company, make money, look after a child, and be happy. Right? Sure. That's what she wants.
About that shit. If it's your body, you should be able to do what you want with it and make whatever money you can with it. Okay. I don't give a fuck.
All right.
And if you have to pay for sex, pay for it. I don't care.
Look, my whole attitude of this is it's a commodity. All right. Now, okay. Do I? Now we're going down the whole concept of is prostitution right or wrong? Okay. My whole attitude.
I think it's whatever people want to do with their bodies.
Okay. This is my whole thing. My attitude of prostitution, and whether it be male or female, male, whatever. Right? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or is whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I mean, like,
Look, look, Mrs. Fields, I don't know if you guys have her there or not, but Mrs. Fields apparently was really great at making cookies, okay? And if she was really great at making cookies, nobody had any problem with Mrs. Fields doing everything she could to sell her goddamn cookies and to put her cookies out there in the world for people to love, okay? I don't care if your cookies is your body. Like, seriously, if that's what you have to offer the world and people want to pay you for it, more power to you. I don't think the government should have anything to do with anybody selling their body or selling. Like, here's the thing. Prostitution is illegal, but porn is legal. So it's illegal for you to sell your body in a sense to have sex with somebody. No, here in America.
Oh.
But if they pay you for it, it's legal.
I was about to say,
like if you video it, okay? If you pay for it without it being videoed, it's illegal because it's prostitution. But if they videotape it, it's pornography, therefore it's legal here. That's some bullshit right there, okay? In my opinion, you shouldn't have to videotape yourself having sex with somebody to make money off of it if that's what you want to do with your body and if somebody wants you to pay you for it. Like, I don't care.
I'm in two moods about all of this, to be truthful. And that is that I fully accept porn. I embrace porn. Well, when I say I embrace it, it doesn't mean I fucking live it. Okay, what I mean is that
I like how you backtrack. That's so cute. It's so cute.
I just mean that the world is what it is. We all love porn. Just fucking deal with
whoops.
it. Okay, yeah, whoops. All right.
Well, we don't all. I'm not going to say air quotes.
Okay. No, we don't all. I know.
I know people who are prudes and they're just
who think porn is the devil's fucking spawn and all the rest.
I don't know what. Yeah, I try not to associate people who talk about the devil.
Well, what I was just going to say, I think we've moved on to another conversation, which I think would be a great way to finish off the show, to finish it off. So we're just going to take a quick break. The Wins Coonawarra is ticking in. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll finish off the show if that's all right with you, Irish.
Yes, let's do that. Yes.
All right. We will be right back. And we're back. And you know what? The timey-wimey stuff is not so big. I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about 3 seconds ago. Man. I have absolutely no idea. So I think wherever we were, we actually have had enough cocktails and conversations for one night. Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That anybody wants to listen to, yes. Probably.
Otherwise, this one...
I can't say I'm not going to drink this other bottle of wine before I go to bed.
Okay, well, I'll put it this way. Would someone like to hear about my watch collection, my shoe collection? I don't think so. Let's just...
Look, you can put it on the website because...
Yeah, okay. Well, we will. And this is the thing. Oh, now, can we talk about this or can we not talk about this?
Wait, can we... Talk about what?
The website, can we mention it?
You can talk about it, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, you don't. Go. You don't. Go.
Yeah, it's thesaintsmartini.com. That's it. Yeah, you can go there and listen to the shows and ask us questions or whatever. There's some other stuff that's going to be put up later, and if you want to know what it is and get an invitation to get into that, you can sign up and do that.
Does this mean I have to send dick pics?
Oh, dear God, please don't do that.
No, I just wanted to know. I mean, you signed me up for stuff. I just want to know what you signed me up for.
No, I'm not signing you up for anything. Other people can sign up if they want to know.
Them. They can.
I
thought you said you signed me up.
Look, I'm not going to say that I am asking for those because, dear God, I have gotten so many that have been so disappointing that I didn't even ask for.
But they always say, I always said, I had a friend who always said, every dick pic they ever got was so fucking disappointing. Yes, a little bit like...
Yeah, I think people need to be happy that I haven't gone ahead and just posted every single one I've gotten. Because, honestly, I've thought about it.
I know someone that does that. I knew someone that did that. Yeah, I knew someone...
I considered it.
I came across... Yeah, and they ran twin websites. And they actually, when it came into one... It went out through the other.
Yeah. Let me just say, as a woman, speaking in generalities for all of womankind,
Yes.
No woman anywhere wants to see your dick pic unless we fucking ask for it.
No,
okay? If we ask you for it, then we totally want to see it. But if you are not asked for it, don't send it because, dear God, all we're going to do is laugh and delete it. Okay?
And can I just say, as a man, just listen to what she says, all right? Just fucking me. Just
I'm not going to lie to you.
I still remember when
You're not that impressive.
When I got married...
Unless I ask for it, don't send it.
When I got married, my father, I still remember, leaned over to me in the car. We were in a Mercedes. We're driving down... Where is his... What was it? C fucking 230 or... I know 180. I don't know, whatever. Fucking Mercedes or whatever it was. And we're driving... And we're driving down the road, and I still remember, and he leaned over while he's driving, and he goes... And he says, Warren, there's one thing I can tell you right now. Except the fact that you will never be right again. I thought, what? What the fuck? Really? But you know what? I've taken it on board, and I get what he was saying. I get what he's saying. And I'm not saying that, no, I'm not going down this fucking jokey, fucking right-wing thing that, oh, women do this and men are fucking oppressed. No, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. But I do get that concept. I do fucking get that concept.
Okay. I feel like there's a whole other thing going on here because I was talking about unsolicited dick pics not being that impressive and not to send them, and you went to your wife is never going to be satisfied.
No, I said, well, that's what my father told me. It was like, I didn't say it was true.
Okay. No, I'm saying he wasn't wrong. Okay.
No, he was totally right. Actually,
it doesn't matter what y'all do. Honestly, we're gonna find a reason to complain about it. That's just we do that.
Yeah, but complain is all right as long as you love. It doesn't matter. Complain is all right as long as you love.
Love's fine. Complain all you want. Also, stop stealing my goddamn covers. That's that's how I feel
fair
about
enough.
it.
That's all right.
I don't like, if I'm sleeping, don't take my covers and don't touch me.
And I would also argue, just because you're a 6 foot tall Scandinavian fucking blonde, it doesn't give you the right to snore in bed. All right.
Okay.
All right?
First of all, I am not 6 feet tall, and I am not Scandinavian.
I wasn't talking about you.
I can't say whether or not I snore. I've been told I do from time to time.
Talking about you. What I'm saying is perfection. All I will say is perfection, as in, I'm 6 foot tall, I'm Scandinavian, I have blonde hair, am I so hot? Yes, you are. I'll marry you. Wow. Yes. Let's not talk about this anymore. All I will say is don't fucking snore in bed.
Now I know a lot more about what you are looking for in a person physically. Yeah.
What, Scandinavian 6 foot tall blondes? Yeah, well...
Apparently, Brigitte Nielsen, she's...
she's pretty hot. The only problem is she's 80 years old, but apart from that...
is she... Oh, wait, I don't believe that. I think she's Nielsen, my age.
Oh, fuck me. No, she's 80.
80?
Yes, she's really... No. She's not fucking 49 years old. No way, no.
No, wait. No, you might be right, but I'm looking because...
No.
No, Warren, you're going to feel really stupid.
Am I?
She's 56.
What?
She's 56 years old.
Okay, well, why does she look 105?
I don't know what you saw her in, but I'm going to guarantee you these pictures I'm looking at, she does not look 105.
Who are you exactly
talking about? Do you even know who Brigitte Nielsen is?
Oh, Brigitte Nielsen. Okay, sorry. Okay, so hang on. How old is Brigitte Nielsen? Exactly.
56 years old. She is born July 15th, 1963.
All I will say
She's from Redorf.
Redorf. I know who she is. She used to fuck... She was the lover of fucking Sylvester Stallone. Okay,
she was Red Sonja. She was Red Sonja. Okay,
She dated Sylvester Stallone. I know who she is. All right. All right.
Yeah.
She's I believe Danish by birth, but American by fucking whatever. I don't know how your fucking country works anymore, right?
Me either. Okay.
So
Me either, no.
I know she is.
Okay.
All I can say, she is. Okay, just say 56. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's 56 or so.
Okay. All I can say is. No, I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to sound like fucking, was it Ben fucking,
You were already wrong when you said that she was, like, super old, and also, I know you didn't say not hot, but she's 6'1", bitch, okay?
No, fuck, I've seen her, but she doesn't look fucking 50, no, she looks like 100, okay. No,
I just saw some pictures of her online, and I'm just going to say,
it's not my right. It's not my right to say anything. But she doesn't. All I will say is she doesn't look 56. That's all I will say. All right. I'm not going to give it to the benefit or to the outfit. I'm not going to say in pro or con. I'm just going to say she doesn't look 56.
That's
100. Okay. 156.
Warren.
No, well, did I say that?
Warren.
I'll fucking give me a fucking break, Oris. Are you trying to tell me that she looks fucking 56? She does not look 56. She looks a fucking 86. Look at her.
I'm going to tell you these. Okay.
Seriously,
no, because I don't know what you're looking at. Because I was just looking at pictures of her, and I think you're wrong. And also, I'm not that much younger, that much younger.
No, but you're fucking 4 decades younger. Okay, no.
Even I'm not like I'm like 7 years younger.
I'm sorry.
Not even like 6 and 6 years and 3 months or something.
I meant the way
that's
the way
rude.
She looked. No, I meant sorry. I meant the way she looked. Sorry, is what.
And
I
let
meant.
me okay, but see, here's the thing. I'm almost her age. No, listen, I'm almost her age, and I'm nowhere near her height. But God damn it, I don't look my age. I certainly don't fucking look in my 80s.
I'm sorry. Okay, Irish. All right. Okay. You are 40. Okay, you are 49.
I like it when you grovel. Go ahead.
You are 49. Even within that 49, you look like you are fucking 35. Okay, so take that on board anyway, right? Yeah. So you've got all of that. Zero plastic surgery. That's just who you fucking are. Yeah, all right. There's some fucking makeup and all the rest in photos, but that's who you are.
Well, yeah, right? I wear makeup because
you're a fucking person.
But also,
right?
I have some amazing non-makeup pictures in the tanning bed and shit that no one's gonna see.
Well, no one has to see them.
Say.
Don't even fucking. Why would you even take the photos? Is what I would. Anyway,
because I like them.
Okay, well that's a different matter. Okay, now who we were talking about? I'm sorry, she does not look fucking 50.
Okay.
I'm sorry. She has had so much sun and so much surgery that she may currently be fucking 56, but she looks like she's fucking 86. She does not.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen her in person?
I saw her on an interview about 10 years ago.
No. Have you seen her physically in person?
Well, of course I fucking haven't. She's an Austrian who fucking lives in Los Angeles. No.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to say to you that based on what I've seen in photos of people, then versus what those people looked like in person, you're wrong. And I'm
no, I did see her in a movie.
No, I'm going to tell you right now.
I saw her in a movie.
She's badass. And I saw her tomorrow.
No, sorry. I suddenly just realised I saw her in a B-grade fucking action movie. Yes, I saw it a few years ago, and it was meant to be an all-female take on the. Oh fuck! What are those fucking movies now with Sylvester Stallone? All guy
Creed?
action. No.
Creed? No. Wait,
no.
What?
All male things, all big guys. Let's all be mercenaries.
They're like Red.
Expendables.
Expendables.
Right. Sorry. She did, and it's a take on by the Asylum, which is part of a Sci-Fi Channel, right?
Yeah.
The Expendables, and I saw her in that. And no, you're right. Actually, now I suddenly realised. Oh, that's who I'm talking about. No, actually, she looked actually pretty good. Although I would say, you know what? No, I'm not going to say it. It's not fair. No, don't worry.
Okay,
don't worry.
well, listen, what I'm going to say is that I don't actually think she's actually had any work done. What I think is that she looks exactly like she was going to look. Because
I'm sorry, boobs. You don't have double D boobs.
I don't know about her boobs. Okay,
I'm sorry. Okay, all I'm saying is you don't have double D boobs in 1982, which stand directly out, and then in 2017 or 2018, because I remember that now that movie is made, your boobs still stand directly out without support. No, you've had some surgery.
So I'm going to disagree with you on one thing about that. Is that I have known women, that have had kids, earlier in their lives, and then have gone into bodybuilding, like she was into for years, the whole thing, that at that age that she's at right now, they are not sagging, They're not sagging. And
you're talking about going into bodybuilding, but now you make me feel guilty about being androgynous. Do you know what? I've seen women in their 50s go into bodybuilding who look brilliant, and I would never complain about them. They're beautiful people, and I think they're doing amazing stuff. Now you just make me feel like shit. Because I've just
that's not my problem, man. I'm just telling you that you should be aware that sometimes
yeah, but she's a celebrity.
When you she's not that big of a celebrity now.
Oh, yes, she is. Yeah, she is.
No. See, I'm going to tell you right now. She'd be somebody that would appear on The Masked Singer here now. Because do you know that show?
Yeah, we had it here. Okay. Yeah, we had some, the redhead. Came out here.
Well, I don't know what you guys had over there because I don't know if it's the same show or not.
Anyway,
but
doesn't matter.
What I'm saying is that here, she's not somebody that my son would know. He wouldn't know her, and he's about to be 21, He wouldn't know shit about Brigitte Nielsen. We know her because she's from our era and that kind of thing. But I'm going to tell you right now, based on what she looks like compared to what I see women her age and my age walking around in the goddamn grocery store.
No,
she's still bad actress.
No.
I don't think she's had a bunch of facial.
Okay. First of all, you're in a similar age group. Well, actually, no, you're considerably younger. No, you're considerably.
Well, I mean,
you're fucking 7 years younger. You're 7 years younger. Okay. All right.
Okay. So yeah.
Right. So. Okay, but try to get where I'm going with this, please.
Oh, I get where you're going with it, Warren. I don't agree with you.
No. Okay, what pisses me off is the idea of women who have surgery to look great and they're viewed as models in cinema and media, and there are women who just fucking run, go to gym, keep fit, run a family, and they're a million times fitter and more attractive. And it annoys me a little bit that these women are viewed as being icons when you've got these other women. And you have this, like Charlotte Nielsen, right? She's been paid to go to the gym. It's part of her job. That's her fucking job, right? You've got another woman, right, who's 35. She's 35. She's had 2 kids. Mm-hmm. She goes to the gym every second day at 7 a.m. before she arrives at work at 9, doesn't leave until 7, still has to come home, cook dinner, right?
Okay, first of all, this particular
that
person
woman
that you know,
is
just making
fucking,
that up?
No, what I'm saying is that woman who is the fucking bulk of the fucking middle class is the hero.
Okay, I'm just going to say to you right now.
Wrong? Is that wrong?
No, listen. No, I think you have a disjointed opinion of what women are doing with their lives. Let me tell you something.
Aren't women doing all the work? Isn't that's the whole idea? They're out.
Okay. Yeah, we are, honey. But let me say something. This whole concept of a woman who gets up and has her kids somewhere so someone else can watch them, so she can go to the gym and focus on herself before she goes to a job where she's there until maybe 7 p.m. is what you just said.
Yeah.
Then what? She goes and picks up her kids and brings them home, and what?
No,
They have to go to bed immediately.
The husband
No, I'm saying no, bullshit. Okay,
she
I'm
has a
telling you,
husband.
in America, no, that's
she has
rare.
a husband. She has a husband. The husband's
Yeah,
already brought
but
the kids
what? He
home.
probably works just as much as she does in our country. Okay. And those who don't, that's rare. And look, yeah, while I admit, sure, it's cool when a father actually wants to stay home with their kid. I just know, my son's father would have loved to have stayed home with his kid, but he couldn't because my job wasn't always regular. Okay. Because I work in an industry where it goes back and forth and back and forth, and sometimes you don't have work. To say that a woman looks perfect and blah, 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 and she's like a real woman because she got up early and went to the gym before she went to a full day's work and then got home at a time when her kid was probably just about to fucking go to bed. I'm sorry, that puts too much pressure on women, because then a lot of times we have to come home and do all the goddamn housework too, because even sometimes, and not every time, because you do get men who are not like this, but even men who stay home with their kids sometimes don't do everything and still expect the woman to do stuff.
I used to do
No.
house.
I know.
I used to do all the housework. I did
this is all for you about how she looks, but let me say to you how much pressure that puts on women. Okay, because what you're saying to us is that I just want you to be aware of what you're saying. What that says to us is that unless we get up before the fucking crack of dawn, get ourselves ready, get our kids ready, get them to somebody else who will take care of them, or leave them at home with a father maybe who will take care of them while we jet off to the gym for a while, take a shower there, go to work for a full day, and come home. So what do? Are we making dinner then? No, we're too fucking tired from working all day. So what do? The dad is still there if he's the one taking care of the kid and putting all that time in. But God damn it, we're going to bed because we got to get up in the morning and make ourselves look beautiful for you. Like, that's really a lot of pressure for us. So I just want to say that maybe it should be okay for us to have a little belly, or a little bit of a little crease on our side, or a little stretch mark on our ass, because we couldn't get to the gym because we cared more about being at home with our families or whatever it was. Brigitte Nielsen is not a supermodel. She's not somebody who's out there trying to put herself forward as the perfection of female, body for anybody. I think you put up a woman that has her specific, like her height and where she was from and something as the perfection of a woman. And then you said that she looks like she's 80 years old. But what I see is a woman who was badass, who worked hard to have people respect her in an industry where she probably wouldn't have been respected at that time, other than the fact that she, took the time to make her muscles big and she was tall and Nordic, No,
you're 100% right. I don't know what I was thinking. I can tell you a story, but I don't want to right now. And
I love you, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but I want people to think about the things they're saying when they put women down for what they look like.
Look, all I can say is if I have in any way, from what I've said, have made women think that they are less important.
I will never think I'm less important.
Was not my intention.
Nobody thought it was. I think a lot of times people say things and they really, because I've done it for sure. Like, you say things, you don't really think about like the big picture behind what it is you're saying. And when you go back and look at it, or somebody brings it to your attention, you're like, oh shit, you're right. And maybe I shouldn't have said that. And I think that's how we become better people and how we grow. And also sometimes how we just go, what the fuck was I thinking?
Well, it's definitely how we
and
grow.
Also, they're full of shit, and I don't agree with that.
And Warren just grew. He just realised he was a sensitive prick. So we just grew. So I didn't mean. Honestly didn't mean anything. If anything I said that was offensive, I really didn't mean. I seriously didn't mean it.
Let me say something. Let me say.
Yeah.
I super appreciate that I made you feel like you had to apologize, basically, for just being yourself, and also.
Well, sometimes I feel like I do, to be honest.
I didn't mean it that way. What I'm saying is I understand. Sometimes we say things and we don't know how they might offend people. And I'm not saying I was offended, but I could see how it could be an issue.
Oh, no. But that's the whole idea of the modern world, all right? Which is that sometimes Warren has to be said, fucking get on board the bus, man, right? And sometimes that has to happen because Warren was born in the late 60s. He gets that, right, in the sense that I was born in the concept that there's a very different ideology to where we live today. All right? All right. And so I am open to being told I'm wrong. All right?
I didn't mean to make you feel bad.
It's so
No.
I've had worse than that. Don't worry, I've had worse than that. Yeah,
I've been blessed to be around people who, as I was older, actually helped me realize more things that I would have maybe noticed if they hadn't brought it to my attention.
Look, the thing is that the world is a changing place.
Yes.
It's not static. The world's never been static, and anyone who ever tells you, oh, the world used to be like this. No, it wasn't. It was moving even at that point that you choose to.
And it might have been like that at that one moment.
No, it was still moving. It was still moving. The whole point is, the Roman world in 1420 was very fucking different to the world in 420 was very different to the world in 470. Okay.
Yes. It was.
All right. Okay. So the thing is, the world changes, ideas changes, opinion changes, beliefs changes. Also, here's the thing: you say, "Oh, opinions mean nothing." Really? Ask the Romans that. All right. You want to go back in time and you want to embrace old world ideologies. Okay. Ask the Romans. All right. Because you know what? The Catholic Church split from the fucking Orthodox Church in, when was it? I
don't know.
550, 570, something around that.
One of my ancestors wanted to get divorced.
No. Fucking, okay, a bit before that. Actually, it was more like
divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. All right. That's all I know about Henry VIII's wife. Okay.
Same church changed body politics. All right?
Yes.
I don't know why I said that. I don't. It's just.
Because we were talking about.
No, it's because I feel guilty now. I feel really guilty.
Don't feel.
Anyway,
no, you know what? I'm good at that, and I didn't mean to make you feel guilty. I just wanted people to think about sometimes when we're joking around and we say things kind of offhandedly, we don't realize that maybe what we're saying is insulting to somebody in a way that you didn't intend for it to be.
And the thing is that I really hope, and I will just say something before we do all our sign-offs and all the rest of it, because we really do have to go, is that if I say something as a man, which is just not fucking okay. No, I'm being serious.
But with me, I'm going to just say something. Dude, whoa.
Right. Okay, if I say something as a man which is just not appropriate, please correct me and let people know what I said was not appropriate. I've just said it on air, all right? Correct me and let me know it's not appropriate. All right? Because I'm
wasn't
sorry.
trying to tell you it wasn't appropriate. I was trying to tell you maybe how I was thinking about it when you said that. Because
but it brings up
think about things different ways.
But it brings up a bigger point, though. It brings up a bigger point, which is that, there are good people who say bad things.
Oh, Oh, absolutely.
Right?
People say dumb shit all the time.
Right. There are people who are the most beautiful, wonderful, loving people, and who say something that offends somebody. It goes on YouTube and they're hated, and this person is the most beautiful, loving, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't mean it that way, but it comes out that way, and then everybody freaks out because you said something. Someone else interpreted as being insensitive, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to.
And the thing that blows my mind is I see beautiful people being attacked for doing the wrong thing, and then I see bad people saying stuff, and they get away with it because they're supported by fucking Ben Shapiro. Right, you know, and it's like, oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
there's a lot of nonsense that way.
When I see someone who clearly is a true equality believer, right? But because they're 70 years old, they say something that comes out the wrong way. Right? Okay.
They may not know the correct terminology.
But they truly believe in equality for all. Right? And that person is attacked, destroyed, right? And all the rest of it. And then Ben Shapiro's mates are on the radio going, I think white superiority is something which has not really been addressed properly. I think we need to look at the economic concepts of this.
I think that those are the type of people that prove that there is no fucking such thing as white superiority.
But here's my problem. The person that dials into Ben Shapiro gets away with it. The person who was taught by CNN goes viral and their life ends.
Okay, well, here's the thing that I've noticed about
do you get what I'm trying to say? The non-racist gets killed and the racist gets fucking supported.
I feel like, here's the thing. The people on the left literally want to do better. And sometimes, yes, in the past, and they say something, especially if they're older, have said things in the past or have had positions that we look at now and say, what the fuck were you thinking? That's horrible. But we have to actually recognize and appreciate people who can see that they were in the past, were not on the right side of history, and were actually able to get new information and change the way they think and do better. I think the problem is when somebody is so wrapped up in their own ideology that they can't see when they've made mistakes, and they can't change the way they think, and they can't improve as a human being. As a society, we must improve as a society, and we have to do that in increments. And we do that by teaching subsequent generations how to do better. But if we don't allow the people who are already on the planet to learn better and then to try to do better, and we don't give them credit for doing that, then we're no better than anybody else who's trying to tell people that they're trash and trying to keep them down and trying to diminish or cancel people who are really, really learning better and trying to do better. And I think if we diminish that in our society, then we are at a loss. We are the ones who are going to lose.
This is the one thing I've always believed about my mother. And they always say, the concept, all men have a mother complex. But the concept of, if the world ever got to a video game concept or a religious fucking concept of 2 lines in the sand, right? 2 lines of fucking ultra-nationalist right wing and everybody else. My mother, who says some of the most racist comments I've ever heard, would be standing in the non-racist corner.
Yeah.
Saying, take me on, mate. Take me on. And that's
her terminology might not be new, but she knows that people are worthy. Yeah.
That's the thing. Because we have people who still use the wrong terms, and this is one of the things about social media that pisses me off. You got people with the right ideologies, but they use the wrong terms, and those accounts are killed, attacked. Like the people have to like unfucking list themselves from Twitter, because they're attacked, even though they were on the right side, but because they of their age or their understanding didn't use the right term, the right terminology. All I can say is don't go down the Spanish Civil War. All right?
Yeah.
This is the thing. In Spain, you had the fascists versus everyone.
Yeah.
Right? You could have had the fascists versus democracy.
Yeah.
Would that have been a fight? Right, okay. The problem was it wasn't. It was a mixture of 100 different groups of 100 different ideologies all fighting the fascists, right? So the thing is that's the thing right now. We're all different. We're not all the same. We don't all agree on everything.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No.
But there is one thing we agree on. Stop fascism, right? Let's just fucking agree on that. And accept the fact that Bob from fucking Missouri said this, or Jane from whatever Mississippi said that. Well, she's on your side. She supports you. She just doesn't. Well, I know you're going, you can't.
Yeah, I know, because we got a lot of people who don't. But
But the thing is, that if somebody was born in 1967 and they don't really quite understand the terminology, but they support it, do you really want to tell them
educate them? Right, educate them kindly, and don't cancel them simply because they didn't understand.
But here's the thing: if you cancel them out, they can say "fuck you" and vote for the other side. That's not what you want, right?
Yeah. I'm going to say that I have older people in my life that have voted the other way, and I'm trying to convince them to vote our way right now.
Yeah,
and it's hard, but because they don't understand everything. And you can't get them to really understand everything.
My whole attitude is that whatever happens in the world, with the exception of maybe some major countries like Germany, France, places like that, but in America, right now, this is where you've got to make the decision. This is where you've got to make your stand, right? Yeah. You've got to make your stand now, right? And the thing is that history will remember where your stand was.
Exactly.
Just remember that. In other words, wherever the world is in 50 years' time, you've got to explain to your grandchildren where you voted in 2020.
Well,
all right, just remember that. Just remember that.
They've always said history is written by the victors, so God damn it, we better make sure that we're victorious.
It was, but then again, as with the Greeks and the Romans, it's been rewritten because we knew better. So sometimes... Yeah, wow. We can actually, you know what I mean?
I'm talking about what's going on in our country right now. I don't want it to be written by these people, because if they're the victors, America will cease to exist as we know it.
Can I just say, I don't personally believe it will. I think you're going to win. I think you're going to survive. Although
I believe that, but I don't know how hard it's going to be to get there. So I'm concerned about that.
Who knows? Anyway,
all right, we got to get
another thing. So anyway, is there anything we want to shout out, say hello to, whatever, before we go?
Again, all those creative people making music at home and doing their creative shit at home, because right now we are facing another big blow up. It's not even really a new one. It's people are starting to recognize that this shit's still going on here with COVID, and we got a lot of creative people that are looking for outlets. And I just want to give a shout out to them, everybody who's still trying to make it happen for themselves at home right now.
Well, that's a pretty cool thing to say. I would never argue with that. No.
It's never good to argue with me, Warren.
No. Have I ever? We've disagreed, but we never argued. Put it that way. We disagree. Don't argue. No, I'm not going to argue with you. No. We're actually really good friends. Don't.
For years.
But no. I agree. It absolutely. My attitude is, don't aim your business or your ideology about where you are today. Aim it where it's going to be 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Be ahead of your time.
All right, because right now we have 1, Corona, and 2, we have Trump fascism. Aim ahead of that, because I really think if you can, do the fucking As they said, in the Battle of Trafalgar, the British used to shoot Yorkers. No one plays cricket, so in America you don't know what a Yorker is.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, man.
A Yorker is when you lob the ball. You lob it, right? You don't fire it directly, you lob it. It's a distance shot, right? Go for the distance shot, the Yorker, as we say in Australia, right?
Okay, well,
I'm
thinking of not staying in Australia or Paris, but going to Glastonbury. So that's where I'm thinking of being.
Glastonbury?
I have some reasons for that, and I'll tell you about that later. We'll talk about it.
No worries. All right. Okay. Well, we will say goodbye. Say thank you. Thank you for another show, and we'll be back next week with another more cocktails and conversations. I stayed reasonably sober.
On cocktails.
I stayed reasonably sober, so at least we did fairly well. All right. No worries. We will be back next week.
All right.
All right. No worries. Cheers, guys. Cheers, mates. Cheers.